community reaches a certain size, it spawns a pillar, a great beast that in some way reflects that culture's values, beliefs, and needs. These pillars bring with them other monsters, great and small. Sometimes these fantastic beasts are wounded by forces beyond our comprehension. When that happens, teams of specialists must find a way to treat their wounds before their rampages destroy the very communities from which they were spawned. These are the tales of the Monster Care Squad. Welcome back, everyone, to Stories of a Broken Sun. I know you're all excited for Season 3, and we're going to kick things off with Monster Care Squad, right before we get started with our season proper. Monster Care Squad, you've heard from us before, back in Season 2. It is a game of healing monsters, and it is by Sandy Pug Games. So if you would like to get a copy of Monster Care Squad for yourself, well, you will have to wait until November, but until such a time, you can always follow Sandy Pug Games on Twitter. It's at Sandy Pug Games. They have many other wonderful products available, and Monster Care Squad is in the works. It was a successfully funded Kickstarter last time we played it, and there haven't been a whole lot of changes to it. They're continuing to work on all kinds of exciting things for the game, but mechanically, it's already sound. There's a few new moves and stuff, but this is it. It's Monster Care Squad. So we're going to get started. And of course, before we do, I want to acknowledge that this podcast is produced on the traditional shared territory of the Katzie, Kwikwetlem, Stalo, Kwantlen, Stz'uminus, and Musqueam people, and the treaty land of the Tsawwassen First Nation. These are unceded lands. I would suggest that you can find ways to support Indigenous land protectors by going to the hashtag Settlers Saturday on Twitter and supporting Indigenous people directly there. I'm Matt, or ARP. I'm your friendly guide here on Stories of a Broken Sun. My pronouns are he, they, and you can find me on Twitter at YCaliber, follow the show at Broken Sun RPG, or visit our website at brokensunrpg.com. Today I am joined by Velvet.
Thank you everyone for joining us today for another round of Monster Care Squad. I'm Velvet. I use favorite pronouns. I'll be reprising my role as Isa, the big game hunter turned surgeon.
Thank you. And we are joined by Michael Blood.
Howdy, everyone. It's still me, Mike Blood. My pronouns are they, them, and you can find me at GoodSirBlood on Twitter if you're so inclined. Today, I'm retiring Yarrow to a life of sky piracy, and instead, I will be playing my new character, Bentley the Friendly Robot.
Excellent. And we are joined by Keekers.
Hi, everyone. It's me, Keekers, also known as Be a Space Cat. My pronouns are she/her, and today, I'm premiering my new character, Pearl, the anthropomorphic human cat person, she/they.
Excellent. Very excited to meet our new specialists. Let's start with the one we know. We'll just do a brief intro of your specialist and their specialties and equipment. So we already know about Isa. Velvet, can you tell us a bit about Isa?
Sure. Do you want me to just read the whole description, basically?
Just specialties and equipment should be fine.
Solid.
And a little bit about what she looks like, maybe.
So Isa is very tall and slender. She's got some very long braids. Isa can run faster than everyone she knows and has the steadiest hands out of her colleagues. For equipment, she's got the sharpest set of instruments to ensure a swift and thorough removal of diseased tissue.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, and your moves.
Oh, my moves. Showing my moves, like Captain Falcon.
Indeed.
So the first one is opened hidden eyes. With a moment to focus your breathing, you can see through illusions and magical glamours. And presto, you can do small acts of magic, create basic illusions, walk on water for a short time, minor healing spells, that kind of thing.
Excellent. Isa was around with our first round of Monster Care Squad specialists, but now we've got some new ones. So what can you tell us about Pearl? Tell us about her name, a little about her appearance, specialties, equipment, and moves.
Right. Pearl, again, is one of the fur folk whose ancestors wanted to be anthropomorphic humans once gene hacking became possible.
Anthropomorphic animals?
Yeah. Basically, humans that look like animals.
Yes, you said anthropomorphic humans, so I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Sorry, I misspoke.
Humans that look like people. That's me.
Pearl's like tribe or organization is made up of those that sought to be more cat-human hybrids. Her name is spelled Purrl. Specialty-wise, she's the best climber in the district or around, basically, I said, and she has an amazing sense of smell. Better than humans, but not as good as her dogs. Because she's such a great climber, she has climbing gear for climbing them big animals here on Hablon.
Some kind of special fancy climbing gear that no one else has, I guess.
Well, see, part of it is that it's her claws that are capped. She puts special caps on them, which help her stick to the skin of these giant creatures without piercing their skin.
Okay.
And her moves are Pack Rat. You're always prepared, or at least always saddled with a backpack. Begin every session. Should I read the whole thing out?
That's fine. You've got 5 prep, which you can transform into general things your team might need.
Then Crikey, which is in symbiosis phase. So anyway, you've always loved and been fascinated by monsters or creatures and have discovered a deft touch for them, quite literally. When you exclaim in uncontained excitement and go to delicately pick up, or I want to say examine a monster, roll plus allure. I think they probably need to change the language there, because if we're talking about giant monsters, I don't think...
Not all the monsters are giant. You probably need to handle or touch it in some way to use this move.
Yeah, I think they just need to say handle as a chain. I don't know. If you could tell them at some point, just in case the monster is giant, you can't pick them up.
Okay, so yeah, that's you get some information about the monster's ability, demeanors, or habits when you handle the monster. And of course, there's a risk associated with that move.
Yeah.
And what can you tell us about Bentley the robot?
Bentley the friendly robot used to be a custodial robot in the Hablon spaceport who was reactivated to help feed the people of Hablon sandwiches. And he was a deli clerk robot. And then when we transitioned into this new reality, Bentley became aware and decided that he would put down his meat shears and pick up monster shears because he embraced the love of veterinary hairstyling.
A specialist groomer.
Indeed. So Bentley has a specialty where, he worked in a restaurant for a long time, so he can prepare a meal fit for a king or a monster of unusual size with even scant ingredients, and can design a masterful hairstyle just by spending a few minutes with a creature.
Lovely.
His equipment is wacky-armed inflatable monster shears, where he inflates his arms to just an unsightly and abnormal degree and can handle gigantic Buster Sword-sized monster shears.
Awesome.
He has 0 force, +1 grit, -1, +1 find, -1 grit, 0 acuity, and +1 allure. And his moves are opened hidden eyes and trapper. When I construct a non-lethal trap, I can describe its function and ask you, the guide, to pick one from the following list of problems about it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. So these are the specialists that we will be seeing in action today. Their mentor is still Seeker Cavalo. Seeker Cavalo is a former Seeker of Gov from the Church of Gov. Used to work for Den, doesn't anymore because Seeker Cavalo is here in the city that we set up for this season. Seeker Cavalo has 6 highly trained, highly intelligent rescue dogs with whom he can speak. His dogs are Azure, Dart, Stalker, Dreg, Crag, and Bumble. Seeker Cavalo has the move Recon. When the team arrives at a new destination, roll plus acuity. On a 10+, introduce a monster care scout. They can answer one question about the monster and tell the team where it was last spotted, and so on and so forth. His signature equipment is a glider suit, and his specialties, he can speak dog, and he can understand how a machine works when he sees it in action. So he acts as their mentor. He's usually not in the field with them, but would be in touch with them through the wave from the Monster Care Squad headquarters in the city. So today I'd like to open up with a couple of little vignettes to introduce you to our monster, because this is not the pillar of this city that is the monster in question today. I think the pillar is doing just fine. We're about a year out from the end of I'm Sorry, Did You Say Street Magic here? So the pillar has emerged and has been wandering around the town and doing, not the town, wandering around the city and the outskirts and doing their stuff, and helping to anchor the city to this petal it finds itself growing upon here in the guts of the emergency. But there are other creatures, great and small, who continue to emerge, and some of them are blessed with the ineffable thing that transforms a creature into a monster that is more than an animal that we might know and love. And one of those creatures that emerged in the past year is known as Capyburrowl. Now, Capyburrowl is not the largest monster around, but Capyburrowl has come to be known as the Comfort in Silence, a mid-sized chimera roughly the size of an African elephant. She's made up of capybara, donkey, and burrowing owl DNA. She is capable of flight but lives in a burrow, and spends much of her time in hot springs and lakes. She's generally a calming and comforting presence. It's not unusual to see her surrounded by and covered in other animals. Capyburrowl has the general build and head of a capybara, the wings, talons, and feathers of a burrowing owl, the tail and hind legs of a donkey, and a temperament much like the capybara and donkey parts of her physiology. Her wings are merged with her forelegs, which sport a burrowing owl's talons, while the end of her donkey tail has a spray of longer tail feathers coming out of it. What she's known for is having an aura of calm that extends around her for about a kilometer, but you can only feel a little bit of it the further out you get. It becomes more intense the closer to her you get. Traditionally, it's all but impossible to be angry, hostile, or violent when you're close to her. So she's just got this aura around her that almost suppresses affect to a degree, at least suppresses negative or hostile affect. She never speaks, but she clearly understands what the people around her are saying. She's drawn to conflict and high-intensity situations, but no one has really figured out why she appears in some places but not others. A lot of people seek her out to help them with anxiety, insomnia, and times of heightened emotion. She's a popular destination for negotiations and strained relationships. So you might see if there's a high-stakes negotiation going on, the people involved in the negotiation might say, let's take this to Capyburrowl. And they're not going to her for advice or anything. They're just going to be near her so that there won't be as much shouting and cooler heads can prevail. Just in the year since she has emerged, she has been credited with preventing a civil war just by showing up. And she allowed 2 influential families in the city to work out their differences rather than plunging everybody into chaos and violence. Again, just by being around. Every once in a while, people see her planting nuts and seeds in unusual locations around the city. Sometimes these sprout into various melons, gourds, or fruit trees, but sometimes nothing will come of it, at least not on any scale anyone's observed. Usually it's a novel species or hybrid fruit or melon that grows out of it, and they often grow in unpredictable ways. For example, you might think that she's planted an orange tree, but instead some side of strange watermelon grows out of it. She tends to the relationships of people in the city in the same inscrutable way with which she tends to these plants. She also really enjoys grooming, so it seems the act of grooming her releases more than the usual amounts of dopamine and oxytocin. There aren't any scheduled festivals in her honor, but anytime she's around, people generally just stop working and go and gather near her. And it's not uncommon for these moments to become like a big communal nap time.
That's very good.
And that's Capyburrowl.
And it's she, her pronouns?
Yes, she, her.
Okay, so she is a really chill animal that I welcome.
She is the most chill, yes. Like you might see like a child still learning to control their emotions is in the midst of a crisis, and the child will look out the window of their mushroom hut and there will be Capyburrowl just chilling, and the child will feel calmed and able to control themselves. Or, maybe a family is having a fight and they're arguing over something that maybe it's consequential, maybe it's not. But you can tell that their tempers are going to cause things to boil over in a way that will make people say things that they'll regret. And then they'll spill out into the yard during their argument, and there's Capyburrowl just hanging out. And suddenly, the argument doesn't end, but it's de-escalated. So that's what she's like. She just shows up sometimes. Right. So what are the headquarters of the Monster Care Squad specialists? What's it like in the city? And do you know which neighborhood it might be in? It could be in Concord Lagoon, the Maw, the Free Hospital, the Free Medical Hospital Compound, the Bazaar, the Pox Cauldron, Spaceport, the Honeycomb Dirigible, the Dairy District, or somewhere else.
I was thinking Honeycomb Dirigible just because it would allow for like the fastest deployment to where they need to go.
That's a possibility. I had said that the medical area did have some animal care veterinary offices there, but there could be multiple offices.
Yeah, there might be different branches.
Sure.
I mean, monster care, there's not like hundreds of specialists around. There's maybe like a dozen. So I don't know. There might still be different outposts throughout the city and the surroundings. Well, it doesn't really matter where it is in the city for now, but what's it like?
Well, the first thing that popped into my head was a giant cat tree, but no. I want to say that it's littered full of fish tanks of different fish that Pearl has been raising.
Okay.
Some smaller varieties, some bigger varieties. Her family, I guess you would say, or her group were well known in the Hygean fleet for being really, really good fish. I want to say fish horticulturists, but that's the wrong term.
Fish aquaculturists.
Yeah, aquaculturists. Basically, more like fish breeding, fish raising of expensive breeds, or what have you. Because well, it's not because they're cat people. I'll put it that way.
So there's fish tanks in this building. Do we think this building is tall, wide, small?
I think it's pretty quaint.
Yeah, I think that it looks not too big from the front, but it kind of goes out a bunch, like out behind the street. Like it's just really long.
Okay. So it stretches back, but it's quaint.
I was starting to imagine the house from All Creatures Great and Small now, Skelldale House, which was a big house. But yeah, it's very quaint from looking from the street, as Mike said. There's probably window boxes, plants growing in it, and then there's also probably other plants growing in the backyard for herbs and other medical uses. But there's just like one room full of fish tanks.
Okay.
I want to say high ceilings for larger animals that might come, because it's got to be like sure, everyone. This is one of the Monster Care Squad buildings, but I feel like that doesn't necessarily mean that they're also not sometimes getting patients come in.
Yeah, I mean, people can bring monsters to you, or monsters might come to you. There's monsters of all different sizes.
Yeah, so I imagine that like there's one big, huge examining room that you can come in.
Okay. So it's got a variety of these things. Do you have any colors in mind that might be for the decor or a palette? Velvet, did you have something you were saying there?
No.
Okay. Maybe warm colors?
Oh, I knew that green was like a pale green is supposed to be calming, but I don't know.
It's just a mint building.
No, it's mint inside. The outside can be like charming, like white brickwork, stonework.
You're suggesting it's in mint condition?
I am suggesting that it is in a condition that one might describe as
like
very fresh.
I feel like it's like, I'm getting this idea that it's like this kind of organic, like cobblestone, but there's enough room in between the cobblestones outside that there's just all this moss. So it's like mostly like rock, moss, you know?
I feel like you're describing to me the like mossy cobblestone from the Minecrafts.
Yes. It's like, it is a rocks, it is like a very living outside, but it is rock.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
But like really old, ugly linoleum floors on the inside. Clean as all get out, but it's just like weathered linoleum.
There's got to be some type of material that's easy to disinfect.
Yeah,
for sure. Okay, so what are each of your specialists doing when we open on the Monster Care Squad headquarters with its organic rocky exterior and the mint decor on the inside? What do we see each person doing?
Bentley is giving Moonlock Powerbomb a haircut.
Okay.
Nice.
Pearl is watering the window boxes.
Lovely.
Yeah, they have like a watering can with them, but also like a utility belt filled with some plant grow dogs barking. And spray bottles, so they can she can also water plants inside.
So she's watering the plants.
All the
climbing
plants.
up the walls to get the higher ones.
Oh yeah.
Okay. What's Isa up to?
Isa is watching the haircut intently. She'd like to learn to do something less intimidating with the variety of connivs that she has.
So as you are going about your daily business, there is I guess an alarm kind of thing, an alert, like a beep 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 beep, beep 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 beep, and a screen on the wall turns on to show you a video of Seeker Cavalo's face. And Seeker Cavalo is elsewhere in the city. It looks like they might actually be up in the Honeycombed Ridgeable area. Seeker Cavalo likes high places. And he's saying, "Oh, hey team. We've got a bit of a situation that we're going to need to deal with. Are you all ready to move out?"
I like to think we all turn and in unison say, "Hi, Charlie."
Pretty much, but Pearl was like halfway up a wall, so Pearl like looks and is like turns her head from the wall as she says that.
"Oh, I'm sorry, Doctor," Seeker Cavalo says, seeing that Dr. Moonlock Powerbomb is there getting his haircut. "I'm afraid the rest of your cut is going to have to wait." Dr. Moonlock Powerbomb stands and removes the haircut cape, and his immaculate outfit is underneath, and he says, "Worry not, Seeker Cavalo. There are greater causes that call than my fashion." And he dashes out. "Good luck, specialists."
How romantic.
It looks like one of our local monsters is having some difficulty, and, well, just like with last time over in Sector 3, when a monster is having difficulties, it becomes everyone's problem. There have been a lot of reports of people getting into fights, knocking each other down, even some real violence. Somebody got stabbed earlier today.
That's why Headbutt tells people not to touch the wall.
I understand, but we're not sure which one of the monsters in the area might be causing this, but talking to witnesses afterwards or people who were involved, they've said they were just suddenly seized by such an anger that they couldn't control themselves. I have a few ideas, but I think we'd better get out there and start, what's the word I'm looking for? Investigating.
Methodically?
That's the best way to go about it.
Well, then you can count on me, Seeker.
I knew I could.
Pearl has finished climbing down the wall and does I was going to say a salute, but that's a little bit creepy or has negative things. So I think it's like a stand at attention and a nod.
Okay.
Gosh.
The Seeker nods and he says, "I've sent you the coordinates to the most recent disturbance. You better get over there as soon as possible. Cavallo out."
I'll drive. Goodbye.
Okay. What's the Monster Care Squad mobile like?
Bentley has a tandem that he insists everyone ride.
I'm all about it.
It got 3 seats on it.
It has 4 with no explanation. This is what I could afford.
I guess it works.
Are you going to upgrade anytime soon?
Why?
And on that, we smash cut to
just Bentley's cold, unchanging face.
The 3 of you pedaling furiously through the pathways of the city, heading towards this area on the outskirts where there's been a recent disturbance. And as you get out there, you can actually start to feel a shortness of temper that is more than whatever your usual baseline temper level is for your characters. Like, you are feeling much more irritable than you usually would as you approach this site.
You know, normally I really like taking rides out into the desert like this, but if there isn't just too much sun and sand today.
I think I have gas.
How could you have gas? You're a robot.
That's why I'm upset, scared.
There's a couple of people, there's several people outside this patch of mushroom huts who are the word for it is just squabbling. They're all standing around, gesticulating wildly. They are shouting at each other or speaking loudly. Raised voices abound. Nobody is hitting each other at the moment, fortunately, but they all look like they're just having 10 different arguments all at once. This group of maybe a dozen people just standing around in the shared courtyard of their mushroom hut area, all just yelling and squabbling.
"Hello, fellow humans. What seems to be the problem?"
A Centauran turns towards you and says, "What do you mean by that?" Shaking their barbells. This is a catfish person.
"Please forgive me. I misspoke. I meant fellow sapiens." And Bentley trills his robot lips as well.
Beep boop, beep boop, beep boop.
Yep. I simulate some lip trills.
Now calm down, everyone. What seems to be the problem?
"Problem is people keep telling me to calm down," a small child says and throws their toy on the ground. "I don't want to be calm. I want to be angry."
That's no way to treat Mr. Horsey.
The child looks down at their little horse toy for a moment. You can see going through their eyes a moment of regret. before they harden into anger again. Mr. Horsey deserves it.
That is alarming.
It would probably be better if you were mean to some of those plants over there, the gorse bush.
See, over by the gorse bush, there is another robotic individual with multiple limbs is flailing away at the gorse bush. This gorse bush is mine. Find your own gorse bush.
That simply shouldn't be happening. This is very disturbing.
The irritation that you're feeling is starting to grow even stronger at this point, the point where the patience that you're feeling with these squabbling people is fraying. And as you feel your irritation growing, you can also hear the sound and feel the vibrations of something large moving through the streets nearby. Just an occasional.
Does anyone know what that is?
I would like to maybe climb a building or something nearby to get a better vantage point.
Sure. Can head on up to the top of one of the buildings here.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does opened hidden eyes have any purchase here with seeing through magical glamours, or is that simply a visual effect?
Let's take a look at what it says.
What do you see with your special eyes?
It says see-through illusions. I don't know if we're taking that literally, it would mean visual illusions and magical glamours.
Just wanted to probe.
Like there are diagnosis phase moves that you can be using here as well. Don't forget. Like pull a thread.
Yeah.
When you ask around for some information about the monster or its condition, you roll plus allure.
I think I'd like to give that a shot, unless that's what Velvet is doing presently.
No, you know what? I'm probably gonna just see if I can locate the monster from my vantage point. You go ahead and speak to the folks.
I can gradually feel my sense of self-worth eroding. Why don't I try to find out what's happening here? Does anyone know anything about a monster nearby?
Okay. Well, so roll plus allure. So it's 2d6 plus your allure stat.
Mike, I just want to say that Bentley is giving me some solid John Mulaney vibes.
I just started like high-pitched me, and then it became Mulaney pretty quickly.
McDonald's.
Street smarts.
I got a 5.
Yep.
I feel great.
Okay. On a 6 or below, the information is false. Tell the table what's about to go wrong. Okay. So I'm going to mark a failure on the control or on the diagnosis track here.
Yikes. But what if you didn't?
It's not that kind of game, unfortunately. Right. So you are asking around, and Isa, you've climbed up on top of a building just in time to see you probably are familiar with the monsters who live in the area, being the specialists and all. So you can see Capyburrowl, in fact, is just on the other side of this building you've climbed, and she's coming towards you, and she doesn't stop. She crashes right through this building and just tramples it. It's a mushroom building, and it's just squashed underneath her claws and hooves. Her back legs have hooves on them because they're donkey legs. And you can see there's a sudden moment of silence as everyone turns to look at this destroyed building. And even Capyburrowl stops her stampeding for a moment to look down. And as she does, you can see that there is definitely something wrong with her. She doesn't look how she does in the files you have back at the base. But after this moment of silence, everybody bursts into shouting all at once. And one person picks up a stick and starts throwing it towards Capyburrowl in anger, like, that's my house.
That is so not what we want to do.
Can I intercept the stick just in case it? I would prefer angry Joe Schmo instead of angry Capyburrowl.
Yeah, you can for sure. Maybe that's a presto move.
Ooh,
minor prestidigitation.
Yeah, I'll go for a presto. Do I roll for presto?
No, it's just you have that. You have minor magic. Just describe how you use that on the flying stick.
Yeah, I think I can just kind of do some pseudo Jedi hand waving and just alter the trajectory slightly.
All right, the stick flies off in a different direction.
Ow!
Capyburrowl rears up, and her talons sort of scratch at the sky. You see them clenching and unclenching, and her wings flare open from the backs of those arms. And then she tenses her back legs, does a donkey kick towards the ground, and launches into the air, flying up into the sky and away. And as she flies away, you can feel that anger and irritation lessening. And the people standing around are just like looking at each other with blank expressions like, what's going on? Why were we arguing over something so small and consequential? And after a minute or so, when all of the irritation that is not your usual level of irritation seems to have drained away, everyone's like, oh, geez, you're home. And they go over and start trying to clear up the mess of that one person's house.
Could I try making a deal, not let's make a deal?
Sure.
Bentley is going to walk over to the individual whose home it is and say, now, I'm real sorry about your home, but we really need to know what's going on with Capyburrowl. Any sort of help that you could give us would be tremendous.
I usually see Capyburrowl around from time to time, but she's never acted like this before. I just, the person, they look down at the ruins of their house and they say, this is going to take days to regrow.
Well, I wouldn't mind coming out to help.
Really? You'd do that?
For a neighbor, I'd do anything.
Well, you should just be glad you weren't inside of there when that happened. You would have been seriously hurt.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about that, they say, and they sigh and they adjust their hair and adjust their outfit that they're wearing. I think they're wearing like in the original Mortal Kombat, what Scorpion was wearing.
Yeah,
like that V-shaped yellow cloth tabard cinching at the waist, and then black pants under it. I think they're basically dressed like that, except with a lot of embroidering and different colored threads and bead work on their stole there. And sure, they're wearing a face mask. Why not?
Oh my.
Guess they have a cold.
Yeah, they might have a cold, or it might be just something they like to do. But they're looking very sad and downcast at this moment. They say, normally, Capyburrowl helps people calm down. I don't understand it.
Well, clearly she's got some grit in her craw.
Yeah, something must be wrong that's making her have the reverse effect. My question before was, is that kid remorseful and picks up Mr. Horsey and apologizes?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
The kid is holding, Mr. Horsey and stroking its mane and like murmuring comforting words. You can see tears in the child's eyes. I'm so sorry, Mr. Horsey. I'll never hurt you again.
Oh, no. Mr. Horsey, no.
Pearl comes over and I would say Pearl is average height for a Hygean person. So they crouch down and look the little kid in the eye and said, I'm sure Mr. Horsey will probably forgive you. Mr. Horsey knows that it wasn't your fault. Mr. Horsey did say some things that they are sad they said too.
Mr. Horsey's never been so angry before. I don't understand. Normally, Mr. Horsey is sweet and loves to play.
Unfortunately, it seems like something's wrong with Capyburrowl that's making their normal chill vibes be the opposite.
The child looks sad but nods, and one of the child's parents comes to get them and says, oh, thank you, specialist.
No problem.
I just put the monster's name in the chat there. It's also on Roll20, but
yeah,
I love it.
Capyburrowl.
Yep. I took capybara, burrow, and owl part from each one of their monster parts.
Amen.
Okay, so you need to succeed before you can reap the rewards of that move.
Yep.
So do we want to go to another day, or do you want to continue your investigation out here, and we'll come back to that part later?
I think.
Now, you did see Capyburrowl, so you probably, let's see, like you can look at the diagnosis moves or general moves and see what, if anything, is going to be helpful for you with that.
I was wondering, are we... It wasn't extremely clear at the beginning because I kind of scanned over it again at the different dice that we roll in this. Is it 2d6 or...
Yes.
What? Okay. So let me figure that out. Yeah.
I can tell you some of the things that you noticed about Capyburrowl without you having to roll, because
Sure.
like Isa, you at least were right in front of her when she knocked down the building you were standing on. So you saw one of the things was that her eyes were blue, like flat blue, as opposed to their usual, capybara style eyes, and wide open where they're normally half lidded. So she had these very flat blue eyes, and her eyes appeared to be leaking something. It wasn't tears or anything, because it looked like it was leaking out and upwards. And as it leaked out and upwards, it seemed to evaporate as it moved further away from her eyes. You may have noticed other details, but you'll have to do a move for that.
Yeah, I was going to ask if I could do a pull a thread, but I guess just for like a visual analysis, since I was right there up in the grill, as it were.
Sure. I mean, you can also be talking to the other people who were here to ask if they noticed anything too.
Yeah, you know what? I'll ask the folks who are like at ground level when Capyburrowl crashed over the building.
All right, give it a roll.
And that's /R.
That's correct.
You got this. You got this. You got this. Good vibes.
We believe in you, Velvet.
Good vibes.
There's a 5.
We're off to a good start.
I'm sorry, that's a failure.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a 6-. Okay, the information is false. Tell the table what's about to go wrong. All right, so you get some false information from people. One of them was saying, oh, well, when I was looking at her, I saw that her tail looked like it was on fire. And, the flames, they were knocking things over and setting buildings on fire when I saw her the other day.
Huh. Well, there was no fire today, but I guess maybe it comes and goes.
You sure? I thought I saw it.
I'm sure this rustic individual is well-meaning. But I have an idea.
Yes?
So here's what I got. You said the weird blue tears were streaming upwards?
Yeah.
Maybe those inverse gravity tears have something to do with the inverse waterfall.
Widdershins.
Yeah, the Widdershins. Thank you, kind villager.
Yeah, worth taking a look.
I'm going to roll 2 dice because I'm aware of the game system.
Okay, give it a roll. It's here's what I got is a diagnosis move. When you put forward a hypothesis about the monster's condition based on evidence you found, roll plus acuity.
When people say the versions in around here, it's like the Texas the stars at night are big and bright. That everyone also has to say Wintersons right after that.
So 7 to 9, you may pick one of these options. Mark one clock segment as successful, gain a session ace. You know where the monster is headed next. Or learn the name and effects of 1 wound.
I will learn the name and effects of 1 wound and spend my hold from making a deal on marking a clock segment successful.
Okay.
Nice.
You still need to come back and help them with their house before you can get that hold.
Well, I'm going to build their house for the rest of the day.
Okay. So I will tell you about one of the wounds based on what Isa saw. So her eyes turn blue, and when the eyes turn blue on a creature like this, it tends to invert some of their qualities. So I think what's one of the things that is happening is that her aura of calm is become instead an aura of irritation. It's having the opposite effect on people. Instead of calming and de-escalating situations, her presence is aggravating and escalating situations. And she can sort of control this to an extent to make almost targeted strikes of despair or strikes of irritation to fill individual people with a rage that can become uncontrollable. But it also tends to have an effect on the land around her. And looking down, you see that the mushroom house that this person lives in that was destroyed, it shouldn't have been so easily destroyed. The pieces that you're picking up and handling are crumbling in a way that this material usually doesn't. It's made it brittle, and there's even like some char marks on it. So it like desiccates and makes things brittle.
The aura of beef is a powerful ability indeed.
Decay.
That's a 20th level paladin ability.
Necrotic damage, is that it?
No, aura of beef.
Oh.
I mean, I'm sure aura of beef does do necrotic damage.
It must.
I have to write that down on Crate's character sheet.
Well, yeah. Well, Bentley is busy helping a person grow a home.
Yeah. Let me try to figure something out.
What are the other moves? If I were to investigate the waterfalls closely, is that like an in harm's way type of thing, or
getting to the waterfalls at the edge of the world could definitely be. Let's see. When you navigate a dangerous environment or situation in search of information, roll plus grit. Yeah, you could. That would definitely be that. Are you headed over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do some parkour.
It's a bit of a hike to get to the edge of the world. Are you taking the bike, or do you have a different way of getting there?
Ooh, I'll take the bike. I will ask Bentley, hey, if you're sticking around to build a house, can I bum your bike?
As long as you treat her nice.
Always.
I guess you could also charter a bee if you wanted. That's an option in this city.
How about instead of touching my ride, you buzz off?
Yeah, you know what? You keep your bike. I'll be fine.
Well, yeah, I don't have any bee puns. I'm sorry.
Did that last one sting a little, honey?
Stop. I feel inadequate as it is.
Stop. He's already dead.
Please. Bentley sadly grows a home.
I think you probably have to like put a dab of a special type of honey or something on your hand, and that summons one of the private bees.
Royal jelly.
Not private bees, but individual bees. Oh no, Cusco.
I mean, listen, if there's private eyes, there can be private bees.
But you got to beware about those private P's and Q's.
Private A's.
Hey.
Yeah, so when you put the dab of the honey on your hand, there's a bit of a wait, but then an enormous bee just buzzes down from the sky, and the procedure is you T-pose, and then the bee clamps you around the torso, and then the bee flies you where you're going.
Yeah.
Oh
This
my
is good
gosh.
and reasonable.
That's the official way to travel.
And yep. Okay,
There's little charts.
glad that's established.
You must be this tall to T-pose by yourself.
You must be this tall.
Hey.
All right, so you're being flown off to the edge of the world with this bee. What is Pearl up to?
Pearl.
Yes, your character.
Yes, I know. I'm just trying to
Oh,
figure
yes,
out.
me. I'm
just
playing this
I'm
game.
just trying to figure out what Pearl's doing.
You could be helping with the house growth or anything like that, or
Probably
maybe
something,
you want to go and review footage or something back at the base.
something cat themed, I'm sure.
It was a catastrophe earlier.
But
I'm just checking.
Oh my gosh, Velvet.
Right? I just searched bee. That's the most psychedelic bee I've ever seen.
That's you on this bee.
Oh my gosh.
Don't know what's going on.
Or
Why is this bee
it.
double cheeked up?
Yeah.
What's happening? He has so much cheeks. Oh my goodness.
And it's coming like straight out of the middle of that bottom.
Oh. This bee is high as hell.
It looks like Nomi Boy. Which is bringing back really terrible memories.
Gonna need you to unsend that one, boss. My God.
my queen, I'm trying to pollinate, but I'm dummy thick and the clap from my ass cheeks
Keep
keeps blowing away all the pollen.
God damn
Oh,
it.
Understand?
Like Fred, man. Me and Scoop are trying to look for clues.
I guess it's a girl though, because it's a bee.
Oh,
This is the weirdest GIF I've seen in a long time.
so good.
What's going on with it?
It's so good.
Where did it come from?
Who made this?
Where did it come from? Where did it go? Where did it come from? God, I don't-
Holy
That's the
shit.
song it's dancing to. Daddy, God, no, I was married a long time ago. Where did it
Yeah,
come
this
from?
is a country bee.
It
Okay.
fits
Oh,
bee.
I'm closing Discord.
I understand.
I can't look at that no more.
You're welcome.
Totally lost my train of thought.
Oh.
Right. Grit.
You were
What's
doing
my
something. Holy shit. Ugh.
I'm zero grit. Oh,
I'm crying.
I haven't stopped crying.
Don't forget, you can use things about your character as aces to add a D4 to your rolls if you mark them as used, like your equipment, your trainings, and such. You can call upon
Right.
those as character aces,
yes.
which I perhaps should have reminded you of when you did that roll just now, Velvet. I don't know if you want to use an ace for that previous roll.
No, that's okay. I'll save those for
Okay.
when the going gets tough.
So, I want to use one of my investigation skill.
Okay.
And have Pearl pull out a big magnifying glass, and anyone who sees her walk along the path of Capyburrowl owl starts hearing music in their head that goes da-dum, 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 ba-dum, 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 da-da-da-da.
So are you investigating on your own, or is this a treasured insight move you're doing?
Oh, I was going to do it on my own.
Okay. So are you pulling a thread?
Yes.
Okay. So you're looking around in this area, or maybe you're going to other areas where apparently Capyburrowl has caused tensions and asking around, investigating with your magnifying glass.
Mm-hmm. So I just roll the
2d6 and add your allure score.
I believe in the you that believes in you.
Yours is the roll that will reach the heavens, Simone.
+1. I had to do lure as one of my +1 traits because I was like, cats are very alluring.
You're a cow. I'm sorry, you're a cat. Which
Cows are also pretty cute.
Decidedly different from a cow, Michael. Well done. Gosh darn it.
Oh, the 5.
Okay, roll the 5. Would you like to use a character ace to roll a d4 to maybe improve that?
So now I'm using the ace that was investigate.
So like you could tap your investigation background.
Which is
and
my
note
grit.
that you've used it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna add an sorry. It did an annoying thing to me, which was it closed it and then opened it in another window before I could add the little X by it, because that's just how I'm gonna denote that I've used it, since I don't have a notepad by me.
Let's hope you get at least a 2.
Yeah, so it's roll 1d4.
Yep.
I feel good vibes.
The best of the vibes.
I feel the Lord in this dance house.
Hey.
Hey, see?
All right, so that brings you up to a mixed success here. So with pull a thread on a 7 to 9, pick one, but the information is flawed and something nasty awaits you when you arrive. So you know where the monster was last seen, you know where to find a survivor of the monster's last attack, you know the site of the monster's most recent rampage, you know where the monster used to nest before it went berserk.
I kind of already know the site of its most recent rampage, so I'm gonna go to where it used to nest.
Okay. Are you going to head over there?
I suppose so, because that's where the footprints were leading me, or I was following backwards from where it was before, where the foot had
You're
come
tracking.
from.
You're tracking backwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Isa, you are at Widdershins. Widdershins is a landmark that we have here. A waterfall connected to the canal system that appeared after the emergency arrived and consumed the habitat. Instead of water flowing off the edge of the world as we know it, it instead flows up. There are many rumors about the magical properties of water gathered from the waterfall. Whether or not these are true is yet to be seen. Eerie, mystical, inexplicable flowing. What does Isa do here?
I think I'd like to get close to one of the biggest sources. If I can find anything further about the reverse gravity tiers.
Okay. So you're doing a dangerous environment here. So that'll be roll plus grit.
All right. What's my grit? I don't have any. That's fine. I have 0 regrets.
It's fine because you don't need it. Boom.
All right. A 7. So on a 7 to 9, pick one. You get what you came for, but something dangerous and unexpected awaits. The situation changes quickly. Too quickly for you to get what you came for, but you're in a good position otherwise. Or you get what you came for, but it costs you. Lose 1 supply. As a note, your team has 1 supply.
I like dangerous and unexpected. I'm going to get what I came for. And then face this dangerous and unexpected thing.
All right. So what you find while you're here is, so the dangerous and unexpected thing is actually a smaller monster that is likewise afflicted, just as Capyburrowl was. This monster is, again, it has the blue eyes with the things flowing out and upwards from its eyes. And it's, the monster is like it's like the size of a vole. Do you know how a vole is?
Yeah.
I should ask. Okay, good. So vole is very small. It's a rodent. But this is a vole that flies. It's got a carapace like a beetle, and it flies like a beetle, and it's got a horn on the front like a rhinoceros beetle. And it is like dive bombing you as you are investigating here. This vole-sized beetle vole thing. And it's very annoying. And like at one point, the horn makes contact with you, and your body goes rigid, and you fall down and directly into the water, and find yourself being swept up the Widdershins here.
Oh snap!
As this thing continues to harry and harass you, and your bee flies away.
I mean, those volatiles are very volatile.
Mm-hmm. But as you are flowing up the side of the Widdershins here, you can start to feel that there is something wrong. It's like there's a taint in the water. And this vole, as it continues darting towards you, is basically confirmation that there is some connection between what's going on in the Widdershins and the affliction that Capyburrowl and this small creature share. I think the way that you get what you want is that you are able to capture this creature. So how do you do that?
I think I'm gonna pretend to still be afflicted with, kind of the rigidity. And when it comes by for another pass, I'm gonna snatch it.
Okay.
So I don't know if this is good news or bad news, but I was looking at GIFs on Giphy, and they have another GIF of that bee doing a different dance move.
Very good.
I'm glad it's a series.
I'm going to, let's see here. I don't think there's anything I can add as I kind of want this to be a supply, but I need to double check how that works. But while we're doing that, you make your way to, or Pearl, you make your way to the den of the beast. Are you alone here?
Yeah.
Isa, yes. Sorry, who are you asking?
I'm asking Pearl.
Never mind.
Yeah. Pearl is alone. Isa went off on her own. Bentley was busy.
Okay, so you arrive at the burrow of, or at least one of the burrows where Capyburrowl usually sleeps. And as a result of the move here, diagnosis, you did pull a thread. Okay, information is flawed. Something nasty awaits you when you arrive. Okay, you get to the burrow where Capyburrowl usually spends her time. And you can look down into the burrow and see that there is a sort of a crackling and snapping sound happening deep within there with a blue tinge to it, almost as if there's a lightning storm happening underground in this burrow. And the nasty thing that's awaiting you, other than this storm, is that this storm appears to be leaking up out of the burrow. And there's like lightning bolts and inclement weather that are zapping and snapping at the land around you. And you can feel your fur standing on end from the ionization of lightning strikes.
All of Pearl gets super floofy from this as she looks around and starts taking pictures, I guess.
Okay.
Not thinking of her own safety there. She's taking pictures of this weird upside down storm.
Yeah, like this is definitely not supposed to be here.
For a second, I was like, oh, what if it was Van Pelt from Jumanji there being like, I'm going to hunt you and this creature. That wasn't a good Van Pelt accent, but
we get the idea.
Yeah. Velvet, can we get a confirmation? Was Isa Van Pelt?
Probably.
Because he might be like my favorite depiction of a big game hunter because he's just so like evil, I guess.
Yeah.
Charmingly white man evil. And by charming, I mean like that class? I don't know.
Fancy.
Yeah, that dapper kind of vibe.
Yes, the one you love to hate.
Mm-hmm. So back in the city, you are Bentley finishing up helping this person regrow their home, and with your assistance and like the pull that you have with the city, you're able to get this expedited a little bit. There's a little bit extra of that fertilizer that people need to grow their homes gets diverted here for today. Disaster relief, and the home is mostly rebuilt. And the home's inhabitant, they say, "Oh, thank you so much for your help, Bentley. I just I don't know what came over me, but if there's anything else I can do to help you, I you can count on me." And you've got your hold.
Okay, cool. Then we'll happily spend that on a successful clock segment.
Okay.
Question: since we are working with more technology now, can we have walkie-talkies?
You've got like those scribs that connect you over the wave, right? So it can be whatever shape that takes for you and your characters.
I really like the idea that people are embracing horses now here. So was the child that had Mr. Horse from Hablon or Hedonarchy, or not Hedonarchy?
Children raised by the Hedonarchy.
No.
The horse is a wonderful thing, both to ride and to eat.
Ugh.
Yes.
Yo, we need a hedonism bot NPC like yesterday.
No, we don't. We just had one. and they were very bad.
All right. We're all back then. Okay, where were we?
Colleen replaced with a double.
So, Keekers, you had successfully discovered something nasty at the burrow of the monster, and There's something leaking up out of it, like a storm leaking up out of it. You captured, Isa, you captured a small monster afflicted with the same thing as one of Capyburrowl's wounds. She has 3 wounds. So you've discovered one of them, which is the aura of irritation, and that also makes the land brittle and dry. And you got that hold, which you spent on a successful box in the diagnosis phase here, Bentley.
Yep.
So where are our specialists headed next?
Bentley gets a call over the scrib, which is sort of like a walkie-talkie. Pearl saying, Bentley, there's a thunderstorm at this burrow. I'm taking pictures.
Wow, these are crazy. I'm on my bike right now, and this is an automated response message.
Don't text and drive, kids.
No.
Bentley doesn't. And then Bentley pulls up alongside the burrow. Hi, I followed your GPS location.
Pearl, turns around and is like,
Oh, you texted me. What's this? Oh, there's lightning. Oh, there's lightning here.
Pearl's like, you can see, Bentley can see Pearl's, all her hair is on edge and looks like, twice as poopy.
How does the ambient electrical storm here affect Bentley?
I feel powerful.
Like I could take on the world. Sorry.
Not exactly that good. Why are you watching a movie? Put that away.
It's a good old quote from Day of the Tentacle. Anyway, sorry.
Now, based on how you're both being affected here, you could probably do a treasured insight, here's what I got combo here, one of you and the other.
Well, I would be happy to do a treasured insight if you would like to tell me what you got.
Okay, here's what I got.
Okay.
So what's your relevant training or background that will help you help Pearl figure out the connection between this storm and
Bentley's background or Pearl's?
Capyburrowl? It depends which one of you is doing the treasured insight.
Well, I'm doing the treasured insight. So I think my background in being, so I have methodical investigation for my grit. And so Bentley has an inhuman eye for detail. And as Pearl is running ideas by me, I'm trying to affirm them or deny them with what I'm able to pick up with my robot eyes.
Okay, give it a shot. Roll your treasured insight, which is roll plus that stat.
All right. Should I cross off? No, I can keep methodical investigation until I use it. Right.
Yes.
Probably going to have to, but we'll see. Rolling with grit. And I'm going to cross off methodical investigation, roll a d4.
It'd be like that.
Yeah, we're not having a whole lot of luck with our base rolls today.
I got a 9.
Yeah, you got a 9. Okay, so on a 9 with treasured insight, you give +1, but you still say how you got in the way just a little bit.
No, that's not right. That doesn't sound right at all. But very clearly, that is the answer. Several times.
The lightning?
All right, give us a here's what I got, which is plus acuity, Pearl.
Oop. I need to redo that typing thing because I copied it, but it ended up being the link, so I almost pasted a GIF link instead of roll.
And you get a +1 to your roll from the assist you got there.
I'm helping.
Okay, let me go back to my character sheet and see what my acuity is. Okay, it's a 0.
Believe in the you that believes in you. Holy shit,
Whoa,
Batman.
that's an 11.
You got an 11. Okay, so here's what I got. On a 10 plus, pick 2 from the list. Mark 1 clock segment as successful, gain a session ace. You know where the monster is headed next, or learn the name and effects of 1 wound.
I want to mark a segment as successful and learn name and effects of 1 wound.
You got it. So the wound that appears to be linked to this mysterious underground storm is something that you have not necessarily seen before, but from your research, from your education in the area of monster care and, study of magic, the issue here is that so Capyburrowl has been infected with some type of weather virus. So normally when Capyburrowl is around, her calming effect even extends to the weather and climate around her. So when she's in an area, that area is always nice and temperate, and the wind is calm, and the rain is, if there is any, not oppressive. It's like a light mist. But it seems like this virus has infected her weather control powers so that she is now corrupting the weather around her instead of calming it. And the physical effect of this is that her ears are like on fire. So her little her feather-covered capybara ears are like they look like they're burning, and there's little forks of lightning coming off of them instead of flames. So that's a physical manifestation of this wound that she has taken. Something here has infected her with this. I'll add that in to the list of wounds.
So, basically, Pearl says, like, I think, nope, I'm edging back into a different character again. I think that, there's some sort of weather corruption infecting our giant monster friend there. From what I've studied, some giant monsters like Capyburrowl can affect the weather, and due to Capyburrowl's more positive influence on the world around her, she gives off positive weather, like, calm. And what this means is because of this negative thing infecting her, it's bad weather.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It seems that rustic city dweller from before was right about the fire.
To an extent, yeah.
Yeah, Pearl stops because Pearl wasn't paying attention at that point. Pearl was off doing something else.
Do you two want to go into this storm?
I'm going to go into the storm.
Okay, but first, we should probably take some precautions. Can I, use one of my things in my bag of tricks there to protect us by getting, rubber, I want to say galoshes, but more like a rubber coat on us so that we aren't shocked by lightning?
Some type of insulation suit?
Yeah.
I'm a robot.
Yeah, mark one of your uses there.
For my pack rat?
Isa, do you want to be in this expedition?
Yeah, I think by now I would have gotten back.
Okay. Yeah, mark one of your pack rat uses.
We sent a message out to Isa.
So you head down into there, and you can, the storm intensifies as you get deeper into the burrow, and you can sort of see around the electrical strikes and the strange glowing blue clouds that this is a very nice burrow. It's large, spacious, comfortable. For the most part, it would be
dry.
Yeah, for the most part, it would normally be dry and nice. But right now, it kind of sucks because there's a electrical storm going on in it. And the deeper you go into the burrow, the worse the storm gets. And you see signs that perhaps she has recently been expanding her burrow, deepening it, making it, wider towards the back to give herself more space for some reason or another. And you get into the lower parts where she has been working on the excavation. And what you see here is that there is a hole in the ground. I mean, you're in a burrow, obviously there's a hole in the ground, but this is a hole that is not the kind of hole that you would expect here. It's more of a breach or rift in the material reality around you. And from this breach in the ground, the storm is rising.
Who wants to guess to see if the fade is over there?
What?
Huh?
Sorry, it was a little Deadpool there. Well, that's probably not good. Another dimension. Anyone want to alert some of the authorities that there's another portal to another dimension and weird clicking noises coming from inside of it?
Yes, hi. Can you connect me to Seeker Cavalo over at Monster Care Specialist Command? Thank you.
Yeah, I think you definitely cannot connect to anyone here in the middle of an electrical storm from another dimension.
Bentley thinks that he can.
A warp storm, if you will.
You can hear, static in your communication devices.
Or maybe that was the clicking.
Clearly, and not a dog's claws.
I tell you, corgis have just clickety-clacks.
They do be clicky-clacking. Well, clearly there's some sort of extra-dimensional something involved.
You don't have to do anything further here if you don't want to.
This is very scary, and I would like to go.
Can I try to catch some lightning in a bottle?
Ooh, stardust.
Sure. Yeah, it sounds like you're probably going into harm's way again.
Are you suggesting this is some kind of risky standard maneuver, ARP?
Something along those lines. We are just not having any luck with this.
I gotta stop rolling.
No, you must roll one of your aces.
So you got a 5. Did you want to use an ace?
I'm tempted to. I don't know if I have anything that really applies to it, though.
Okay. So in harm's way, there is no failure state on this one. So I guess you don't get what you came for. I don't know if any of
My
these...
fancy bottle breaks.
Yeah, I think as you are attempting to bottle this extra dimensional energy, there is a tear in your environmental protection suit here as the bottle shatters and some of the glass debris or the debris of whatever this bottle is made out of shears along the arm of your suit. And it doesn't cut you, but it cuts through the suit. And you can start to feel whatever this gaseous part of the storm is leaking into your suit. So it might be a good idea to make a getaway here.
Just wanted to have Pearl throw a lit torch and not anything. It's just to see what would happen if she threw a torch into the portal.
Do you have a torch?
Do I have to use one of my things from the pack?
To have something like a torch, yes, I would say so. Like just a basic like flashlight, sure. But like a torch is like a
flashlight.
So you want to throw a flashlight in there?
Yeah, just to see what happens.
Yeah, you throw the flashlight in there and you see the lightning bolts being drawn towards its construction, and as it falls into the gassy void below, it just sort of disappears into the clouds and lightning. Eventually, you just can't see the light anymore as it's consumed by the clouds.
For some reason, however, Pearl gives a little Cheshire Cat smile because, I don't know.
There's a joy in knocking something off the edge of the world.
Pretty much.
My God. The secret villain smirk as the other heroes look away.
What?
Anime glasses glint.
You had no idea that I was working against you the whole time.
Oh, it's just chaotic, like cats.
I'm going to rise to the top of the dimensional chaos as the head cat in charge.
Now let's get out of here before anything worse happens to Isa.
Yeah.
Isa, you're turning purple.
Violet, you're turning violet.
Back at HQ, you are, I guess, patching up your suits and running tests on Isa. She seems okay. And doing some research on the little monster that Isa brought back from the Wittershins. So we're very close to closing out this session here, this phase of the game. So what do you want to do to close this out? You have one more wound to figure out.
Are there any people around the Wittershins?
There are people who live near it, but not too near, because it's kind of a place that is protected almost. It's a wondrous location, and people don't necessarily want to live there. But you could interview people who are nearby, or maybe people who monitor it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go pull a thread.
All right, give it a roll, and you're talking to people who live near this area, see what they've noticed.
Biscuits. I got a 6. I'm going to melt my public speaking for a D4.
Okay, all right.
Hell yeah.
Got an 8.
You got an 8. Okay, so when you pull a thread on an 8, 7 to 9, but the information is flawed. So pick one from the list.
I know where the monster was last seen.
Okay, so the last time the monster was seen was actually quite recently. It was seen flying past the Wittershins, and some of her, it's almost like she flew through the spray of it floating upwards recently, and then flew back over towards the city. And the most recent place that she was headed, based on her trajectory, as it looked like she was heading towards the Spider Crane Park above the Maw.
Looks like our next stop on this journey is the Spider Crane Park over the Maw.
Okay, and we'll do the end of diagnosis section move now.
We did such a good job.
We're so diagnosable.
Here's my prognosis.
Prognosis. So when the clock is full and it's time to move on, check the clock. If every segment is marked success, not quite, gain a critical ace and ask the guide what you need to cure the monster's wounds. If more than one segment is marked success, roll plus successful segments. On a 10 plus, you gain a critical ace and ask the guide one question about the cure. On a 7 to 9, either gain a critical ace or ask the guide one question about the cure. On a 6 or below, move forward anyway. You don't know how to treat this, but you're going to do your best. So who would like to roll +2?
I can't be trusted to roll.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Do it.
I got an 8.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh.
So, let's see. On a 7 to 9, either gain a critical ace or ask the guide one question about the cure.
What do y'all think?
Either works.
As a reminder, a critical ace is a D8 instead of a D4. It represents some type of special preparation you've made, but you can only use them during the symbiosis phase.
But we still don't know anything about anything.
I mean, we know, I guess, what's going on with it.
That's
we
true.
just know how to cure it.
I would say I want to know the cure.
You know something about the cure, right?
I would like to know one question about the cure.
Okay.
Is it a Robitussin?
Is it she has to eat a robot?
So based on your research on this little flying beetle vole thing, you have found that there is a way to successfully cure this with eye drops. And the eye drops are, of course, made from the juice of some of the melons that Capyburrowl has been growing over the past year. Some of the strange hybrid ones she's cultivated.
Aww. Sorry, I just love animal growing things.
It is very good.
Like growing things in a virtual space.
That brings us into our synthesis phase. So, mechanically, it's similar to diagnosis. You'll be making moves and taking actions to brew medicine, prepare tools, and uncover local wisdom to better prepare yourself to face the monster and stop the false gold-induced rampage, or in this case, stop the extra-dimensional rampage before it gets out of hand. Success in this phase gives you a boost in the symbiosis phase and equips you with the exact tool you need to solve the problem. There's a list of synthesis moves that you can take a look at. So you know where Capyburrowl is. You probably don't want to go straight there without anything ready. So you'll need to figure out what kind of cures or to make. You know a little bit about the cure for one of her wounds. You know what the other wound is, and the third wound is a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to seek some wisdom.
Okay, so when you're seeking wisdom, when you ask a local source about the materials you need, ask the guide 2 questions and roll plus a lure. On a 10+, the guide's answers will be direct, clear, and actionable. On a 7 to 9, one answer will be a lie and will be the truth. On a 6 or below, the guide will answer with a question of their own.
Okay. So we know that the juice comes from these melons that Capyburrowl is growing.
Yes.
Okay. What's the best way to get the most juice in the shortest amount of time? And has anyone seen Capyburrowl do anything else other than those 2 things that we know that they do?
Okay. So you're rolling with your allure?
Yep.
Okay.
An 8.
Hot streak of 8s here.
That's what 8 is my fate.
You're the chosen one.
Just like Yarrow, 1 is a lie, 1 is true.
Okay. So 1 is a lie, 1 is true. So your questions again, had anyone seen Capyburrowl do anything else? And what was the first question? I'm sorry.
What's the best way to harness the most juice in the least amount of time?
Okay. The best way to harness the most juice in the least amount of time would probably be to bring some type of creature that's good at squeezing things out to the melons and just have them squeeze it into a big jar. The thing that other people claim they have seen Capyburrowl do is they claim that they have seen her regurgitating some type of bile-like substance over arable land.
So we need a squeeze machine and some Pepto-Bismol.
Some pink stuff.
One of those is a lie.
Well, I don't know that.
No, I'm just telling you. Meta speaking, one of those is a lie.
You could always just get like one of the centipedes over the melons and have them dance over them to squash the juice out of them.
That's an excellent idea. Bentley is going to go get a centipede.
Okay, so you head off to charter a centipede for juice use. When you invent a new way to apply a medicine or treatment, tell the table what it is and ask the guide for a complication. I'm not sure if that applies just yet. Let's see.
Perhaps shopping list?
Take of the world? No, that's not danger that you're
This is
engaged
the
in.
most dangerous thing Bentley has ever done.
What do you mean dangerous? Those centipedes are so sweet.
Bentley doesn't know that.
Just grab Chitter. Chitter's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Bentley's going to borrow renowned folk hero Emerin Pock's centipede.
He's my best friend.
Well, I can't gainsay you there. Yeah, this might be shopping list. Roll plus acuity when you figure out a vital ingredient or medicine your team will need. Let's see how that goes. Will it be another 8?
It's going to be a 5. Haha.
It is a 5.
I spoke it into existence.
You're too powerful, Mike.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to burn my aromatherapy background.
Oh.
Hey.
And a little bit of ledgered mane, a little bit of subterfuge. Bentley is going to just burn some incense that makes people a little bit more amenable when they're making business deals.
Essence of Capyburrowl.
Hell yeah.
Eau de Cappy sweat.
First a dog sweat, another Capyburrowl sweat.
Musk.
It's an 8. Golly.
Okay. So in order to get access to the centipede to squeeze the melons, let's see, you will need to deal with the caretaker.
Oh, this guy.
Because the caretaker,
Yes.
the caretaker adjusts their little hat. Let me just double check something here. Caretakers, they, them. The caretaker adjusts their centipede newsy hat and they say to you, now, I can't just be sending these centipedes out willy-nilly. We've got a schedule that we need to hold to, and some of them are too young to go out with you, others are too old, and those that are in their prime, well, they got work to do.
Well, if there's one that's just right, we sincerely need a centipede's help in order to save the city from the destruction and really bad vibes.
Look, my concern is taking care of these here centipedes.
There will be no centipedes if the city explodes.
I'm not sure about that. They're pretty hardy.
But what about you? Will you survive the destruction of the city? And who will watch the bugs after that?
The caretaker looks down for a moment. They take off their hat.
I'm a robot.
They take off their hat and they scratch at the hair underneath and draw a hand down their face. They sigh, put the hat back on. All right, fine. I'll lend you one of our centipedes. But they better not come back with any legs missing.
I will replace them myself.
The caretaker looks askance at you there, but takes you to fill out several different forms in triplicate for the loaning of a centipede. So this plan is in action.
Cool.
Let's see, the shopping list, fill. No, it doesn't fill a segment.
No, I just really didn't do anything.
Well, you got access to the thing that you need. So that's the juice is available to you now. You're out there juicing with the centipede.
Isa, Pearl, I'm juicing with the centipedes.
Sounds like a drug euphemism.
I don't understand euphemism.
Now, this could take you to Take of the World.
I'll go for it. I'm not scared of you.
Do it.
Okay. Because in order to juice these melons with the centipedes,
Jesus.
you do have to deal with the fact that areas where Capyburrowl has been growing these things are currently overrun with a bunch of monsters, all of whom have those glowing blue eyes. You're going to have to defend the centipede while it is doing the juicing to Take of the World.
Let's do it.
That is a roll plus force.
It's happening.
That'd be
A 7.
That's
All
a
right.
7.
Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend my wacky armed inflatable monster shears equipment and perform a show of veterinary grooming deli clerk swordsmanship that will intimidate even the most stone-hearted monster.
They are duly intimidated by your flailing arms and stylish haircuts when they get too close.
Now you look fabulous. You look great. Bentley will roll the D4 and hope for a 3.
Fingers crossed. There's a 4.
4. So
Okay.
2.
All right, Take of the World. Pick 2 from the list. Mark a 1 clock segment as successful. Gain a session ace. Gain 1 supply. Learn the name and effects of 1 wound.
I would like a successful segment and the last wound, please. Thank you, Bob.
All right, I will fill in this segment here in Synthesis.
I am a weapon of fashion.
You sure are. Okay, so the final wound that you learn about as you are snipping at these monsters' hairs and furs, you learn through your observations that what these ones have is also probably something that is affecting Capyburrowl. So in addition to the blue eyes, you can see that there is something else dripping from them into the sky. They have these strange pearlescent oils that are dripping occasionally off of their furs and feathers and chitons and dripping, weeping towards the sky. Those that have feathers, their feathers are limp. Those that have fur, their fur is lank. Those that have chitin, the chitin looks brittle and dull. So this is the final wound that Capyburrowl and these other monsters are also suffering from. So I will add it here. Her wing feathers grow limp and weep strange oil that drips towards the sky. This has an effect on gravity, which you notice because as you are taking those swings, you find your wacky waving arms are like moving in unexpected ways because as it gets too close to one or the other, like your arms are diverted by powerful gravitic fields that seem to be very localized.
It would appear these creatures have psychic powers.
All right. You've got the juice. You have taken of the land. You have discovered all 3 wounds that are plaguing our friend Capyburrowl. We have 2 segments to go in your synthesis phase. Who else is doing stuff?
I'm still thinking of what I'd like to do. So feel free to skip me for a sec.
All right.
Bentley keeps flailing inside the gravitic well for fun.
Hell yeah. You know what? Maybe I'd like to get, I don't know, I'm thinking of getting a direct sample of either the water from the Wittershins or another crack at that lining in the bottle, just so we have something direct with which to make a cure, if that makes sense.
Okay. You're going to head back into the storm?
Yeah.
All right. That sounds like Take of the World that you're doing.
You're so cool.
Oh, thanks. I'm going to do it. Because I do have force.
You do.
You could say it's strong within me.
I sure hope so. Are you one with it, though? Yes, you are.
I guess I am.
You rolled a 12. Okay, so...
It happened. It happened.
Likewise, pick 2 from the list.
This is so good.
Let's see. I'd like to mark a clog segment, if I may.
Yep.
And we know the wound, so I don't have to learn that. So I guess a session ace.
Okay.
That's dummy cool of you.
Would it be dummy thick, like a certain B?
No.
Oh,
I don't know what
okay.
you're talking about. How dare you?
Let's try not to look behind us. Focus on the future.
Wow, that was a double one.
Damn.
That did a lot.
Nothing good, though. What's Pearl up to while this is all happening?
Looking up scissor blade gifts.
Scissor blade ships?
Gifts.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was doing.
Do you have a cunning plan or perhaps an ingredient that you know you need or you want to ask questions?
Yeah, I think,
Well, I guess while you're thinking about that, so Isa, you're able to capture some of the lightning and gaseous things in a better containment thing that you bring with you. Maybe some type of stasis field similar to the ones that were once used to keep creatures in stasis. You've now got like a cloud in stasis.
I brought a better jug. I went like full 5th grade science project and just cut open like a milk jug.
Lightning, storm in a bottle, storm in stasis.
Mm-hmm.
So you brought that back to tinker with. I'm sorry, Pearl, what were you saying?
Pearl was going to go to forget the name of it. The place where all the apothecaries live.
The Poxed Cauldron.
The Poxed Cauldron. Yeah. Pearl was going to go to the Poxed Cauldron and try to ask about things that could help cure or take care of ears burning with lightning.
Okay, that sounds like seeking wisdom.
Yes. So that's 2d6 plus my allure.
Mm-hmm.
5. That's
a 5.
Good. Yeah.
You have things that you can do.
Okay, the guide will answer with a question of their own.
Okay.
What do you find here that makes Pearl want to give up? Saying they do give up, but something happens here that makes Pearl feel very down and defeated.
I think Pearl runs into an apothecary who says that, one of your cat folk brethren had the ear burning. And that freaked Pearl out.
Maybe learning that maybe that person didn't recover from it.
Yeah.
Okay. He went seeking wisdom and instead found despair.
Mm-hmm.
What else can we do to finish up this synthesis?
Okay, so here's the plan.
All right. Tell me about your plan.
We're gonna make a bobbing for apples pit and fill it with the juice so it gets in Capyburrowl's eyes, which will also extinguish the lightning flames on her ears. And then we're gonna attempt to douse Capyburrowl in a bunch of moisturizing oil in order to revitalize her stiff feathers and lank hair.
Okay. Engineering something from that cloud, perhaps? Reverse engineering something from that cloud?
Special cloud oil made of lightning.
Okay. So you roll plus fine.
Why, thank you. Okay, I know that that's a 7.
It is. Yes.
But what if, because I have veterinary grooming, I burn it?
You can absolutely do that.
Now, if this is an 8, I will, of course, have to leave the country.
Hey.
It's a 10.
Okay, that brings you up to a 10.
Okay.
So, synthesis. So, okay, here's the plan. Pick 2 and mark 1 clock segment a success.
These 2 questions?
Yeah, pick 2 from the list there. You see.
What is one unforeseen risk, and what do we need to make this actually work?
Okay, so you will need to make this plan actually work. You will need to find out what draws Capyburrowl in her current state. What is it that made her appear in those locations that she appeared in since getting infected? So you need to know what draws her in order to get her to this trough that you're planning to build. And an unforeseen risk to this plan, you're not sure how the lightning and stuff that follows her is going to interact with the juice that you are setting up in the trough.
Disturbing.
But with that, you have completed the synthesis phase, which brings us to the pharmacy roll. When the clock is full, it's time to move on. Check the clock. If every segment is marked success, gain a critical ace. Hey, you did that. And have every member of the group name one thing they're taking with them into the confrontation with the monster. So name one thing that you can use as a character ace that you're bringing into you as a confrontation with Capyburrowl. You don't have to know what that is yet, but we are going to do that. So I'm going to add a critical ace. So you now have 1 session ace and 1 critical ace available to you for the symbiosis phase. If more than one segment, okay. On a 10 plus, gain a critical ace and choose one from the list. Tell the guide where you'll confront the monster. Oh, you haven't rolled it yet. So, tell the guide about a trap you've set for the monster. Tell the guide about an ally you'll have when you confront the monster. And tell the guide about one major modification to your usual equipment you've made. On a 6 or below, move forward anyway. You don't have everything you need, but that's okay. You can do this. Let's give it a roll. Who would like to roll plus successful? Oh, wait, hold on. Do you need to? Right. So you still roll plus successful segments, I think?
I think so, because we have all the segments, and that just gives us more stuff to come in with, but we still need to roll to see.
Okay. Who wants to give this a roll +3?
I don't trust myself. It's got to be either Mike or Keekers.
It's got to be Pearl because Bentley's tired.
Been doing all the things.
He's a robot.
A robot.
But he's not indelible.
He needs to recharge his batteries.
He plugs himself into a mushroom.
That must be quite a trip.
So it's a 2d6 +3.
I believe in you. This is happening right now. This is happening.
Bring it home.
Ha-ha!
Noise.
All right. You rolled yourself a 10 there. So gain another critical ace and choose one from the list.
We're so hot.
What do you all want from the list?
We have an ally.
Ooh, interesting.
Ooh.
Who's your ally?
Headbutt Swan Dive.
Yes.
That's the mask peddler.
That is the mask peddler, yes.
Headbutt Swandive, who is a resident of the bazaar, who takes care of the talking wall. This mysterious masked person hand carves and paints masks for the talking wall, always replacing the masks that are purchased by the city's other residents. They are so named because any attempts to mess with the talking wall are met with vigilante fisticuffs with mask-themed magic. Croaking voice, hooded, cloaked, and masked, deeply respectful. So Headbutt Swandive is here with you as you are heading to set up your trap, I suppose it is, which brings us to the symbiosis phase. You have your diagnosis, you have your tools, it's time to get to work. Have you figured out, each one of you, the thing you're bringing with you into the confrontation?
Yes.
Not quite yet.
How big is this trough?
It's got to be big enough for an elephant.
It's an elephant-sized or appropriate trough, I would say.
I'll finish reading the description of this phase while you figure out what you're bringing with you. In the symbiosis phase, you square off against the monster and attempt to heal their wounds. Symbiosis is the most different phase of the three. You're still taking actions and following moves to see what happens, but symbiosis doesn't use a clock to track your progress like the other phases. Instead, you'll be using your skills and abilities to cure the wounds, causing the monster to go berserk. If you succeeded in the previous phases, you'll have a ton of help here, and you should still be able to apply your cures relatively easily. But if you failed the previous phases, you can still soothe their pain and fix the problem. It'll just be a little harder. So there's a set of symbiosis-specific moves, more of them than in the other phases. And in addition to that, you've got your 2 critical aces and your 1 session ace, and you have your ally with you, Headbutt Swandive. So what item are you bringing with you, Bentley?
My adjustable shampooing hands.
Okay.
Ooh.
Make sure you note that on your sheet.
I have an idea.
Yes.
I think instead of my usual very pointy blades, I have one that is very dull, almost like a large butter knife, so that I can more effectively scoop our healing oil on Capyburrowl's wings.
Okay. Large lotion knife.
Yeah.
Body butter knife.
A body butter knife.
Yeah, the good old BBK.
Yeah, everyone knows about BBK. Come on.
You don't know about BBK?
You guys are slacking if you don't know about BBK. That's the newest wave.
Does Pearl have an item?
I was going to say maybe a giant super soaker, like a really long range super soaker.
Okay. What do you want to use this for?
Armor piercing sniper soaker.
I don't think it's that. It's basically because if we get too close to it, we're going to be in a bad mood and we might fight.
Okay.
Ooh.
So you want to be set up at range.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Pearl is total sniper mode right now.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, before we move into symbiosis, I mentioned that one of the things that you need to make this plan work was a knowledge of what draws her. But you didn't find that, so I think that means you have to go to where she is and try to set up this trap near her. You know that she was headed towards, when last she was seen, she was headed towards the Spider Crane Park above the maw.
But what if instead of making a trough, we set up a big bucket trap?
You could do that. You could also, I guess you've got your super soaker thing. You could try and use that to deliver the eye drops, juice drops.
Makes sense to have.
We're in symbiosis.
Yep.
You arrive at the Spider Crane Park. I'm guessing, do you climb up, or are you taking bees up, or do you have a different approach?
Flight of the bees.
Well, I mean, Pearl's gonna climb.
Are we going to concord to be the flight of the bees?
You make your way up to the top, either by bee back or by your climbing, depending on your personal preferences. And you can see that she is indeed up here. Capyburrowl is in amongst the tree cranes and the vines, and she is with her claws scratching at the trees, ripping away the bark, and you can see where her claws touch beneath the trees, wither and snap beneath her weight. Every time this happens, she stumbles and fumbles and then flaps and grabs onto another tree branch. And it's like a compulsion. She can't stop scratching at the bark and ripping it apart. So every time she finds a perch, she destroys it, which is obviously causing quite a kerfuffle up here in the Spider Crane Park, high above the ground.
Like Pearl totally gets this whole need to claw. In fact, Pearl does this unconsciously as she climbs up, or sometimes when she's really stressed, she starts tearing at some cardboard.
Understandable.
Mm-hmm. I want to do a set 'em up roll.
Okay.
Where Pearl is going to use a canister of. So she has a canister of the medicine, but I want to say she also has like some rounds of just water. So she's going to try to spray Capyburrowl with water and try to direct her towards like the place we had agreed like was a good mark for her to be.
Okay.
In if that works, yeah.
Sure, give it a shot. So you roll plus fine for that. That's a 7.
Pretty good. You can spend a thing. You can.
Yeah.
You can. I don't know. Do something. I'm scared.
On a 7 to 9, pick one from the list.
Okay.
You set someone up perfectly. Give +1 to a teammate as long as they exploit the situation you created. You catch a glimpse of a hidden truth. Gain a session ace. You get a moment to diagnose the monster's wounds. Ask the guide one thing about the monster can do and one thing it can't do due to its wounds. So you're spraying at her with this, and she is like turning and snapping with her razor-sharp capybara teeth at the water every time it sprays into her, but it is driving her in a direction.
I think I'll give a +1 to a teammate.
Okay.
Okay with y'all?
That's fine with me.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. What's up next?
We're going up there. Bentley is climbing.
Okay. You're trying to climb on the monster?
I believe that, yes, Bentley is trying to climb on the monster to begin the shampooing.
All right. So you roll plus force. You are feeling extremely irritable. Like there's anger throughout you the closer you get to her. This is probably unfamiliar for Bentley, but it's similar to what you were feeling yesterday when you first approached her.
Cool. I got a 9.
Okay. So on a 7 to 9, you get stranded halfway there. Spend an ace to move up 1 on the track or lose your footing.
I will spend my adjustable shampooing hand.
Okay. So I will move you up on the control track. Your shampooing hands are just sticky enough to give you a purchase on her hide. You can see the oiliness of her feathers and how limp they are looking as you continue your approach here.
Okay. I'm feeling good.
As you are clinging to her back and she is getting sprayed in the backside with this juice, she turns and you see her ears twitch, those ones with the lightning flames on them. And as her ears twitch, there is a sudden cascade of lightning slamming throughout all the trees and causing some of you to fall back and ruining your footing, as it were. And she takes +1 control.
Oh.
It's the tug of war.
Isa, do you have anything you want to do here?
I'm pretty straightforward. I think I would start climbing from the opposite side of Bentley, just to try and split Capyburrowl's attention a little bit.
All right. Is this a we go on 3 plan, or are you just doing we're going up there?
I think it's a we go on 3. I think we figure, since we didn't get the jump, kind of being on those different sides splits her attention a little bit.
Okay. So are you all participating in this plan, or is this just you and Bentley? This is when you come up with a plan on the fly, name at least one other team member with a relevant training or background, and ask them to help out. You and everybody who agrees roll plus stat. For every 10 plus, hold 1. Spend hold in the following options, and so on.
I think maybe just Bentley, since we're both, climbing up the hard way.
Okay. What's the training or background that you're calling on here for Bentley? Is this the grooming or?
I think the grooming. I think both of us have very steady hands by virtue of our backgrounds.
Okay. So you can each roll. That looks like fine.
I
got a 7.
Okay.
Even. Oh, a 10.
All right. So you get 1 hold there, and you can spend that hold on one of the options on the list. Advance the control track, rescue a teammate that rolled a 6 or below, push the monster back on the control track, gain a session ace, refresh a critical ace. You don't have to pick that now. It's hold, so you can spend it at any time.
Oh, cool.
On a 7 to 9, so Bentley, you're safe, but you botched the plan and lost something important. What was it?
I don't have the storm shampoo.
Okay.
Oh, no.
That drops down. It gets tangled somewhere in the vines and hooks below you.
This is very bad. Yeah, I think I'm going to try to set up.
Oh, did you use that +1 from?
Yes, I had already used the +1.
You already used it. Okay. You're trying to set up what?
I'm going to try to set up Isa.
All right. How are you doing that?
I think that noticing now that I don't have the shampoo, Bentley is just going to use his regular robot clampers to just try to tickle Capyburrowl and get her attention.
Okay. And draw her attention specifically towards you. So that's roll plus 5.
Okay. That's a 5.
It is, yes.
I'm almost out of things.
You do have 2 critical aces and 1 session ace available to the group.
I also have deli clerking.
I'm sorry, was it deli clergy?
No, deli clerking.
Deli clergy.
I used to bless the meat. You're not sure deli clerking applies?
I'm not sure deli clerking applies to tickling in this case. Well, I don't know. Tell me how it applies.
What are you, some sort of guide? Well, in the deli, I don't know if you know this, but every now and again, you do have to nimbly poke the cheese back into place when it slides off the slider because it's wrapped in plastic, and you're trying to compress it down so you can get the slices that the customer wants, but then every now and again, the plastic slides. So you're just constantly doing this little bit of poking, and it's very fine, methodical work.
Okay. You probably also know a lot about, animal anatomy from getting into cuts and such. Okay, so spend that ace.
It's a 4. We're up to 9.
Okay, so on a 9 for set 'em up, you pick one of the options.
I'm giving Isa +1.
Okay. What are you going to do with that one, Isa? You're going to take advantage of Capyburrowl is now sort of writhing and twitching and turning to snap on the side that Bentley is on. So you have moments of distraction here.
Yeah, I think I'll capitalize on the distraction to start, spreading that healing balm with the BBK.
Okay. What move do you want to do for this?
That's a good question. It's not to set him up. Maybe it's would it be cure since I'm trying to cure one of the wounds?
You can roll cure. If you roll cure at this point, you'll be rolling 1d6 with the
Plus
goal
1.
of getting
a 10.
With the goal of getting 10 or more.
We do have
a hold.
2 critical aces and 1 hold. That's true. So you could advance the track.
Yeah, could I advance our track here?
Yes, you can.
Because
we will allow you to roll 1d8.
And we still have
1d8.
2 critical aces and 1 session ace, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. I think that you can make this happen with 2d8. Should you need it?
All right. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll go for the 2d8 if everyone's cool with that.
Don't bother me.
It's fun.
2d8 plus 1.
2d8 plus 1.
It's going to happen. See?
13.
Oh.
Okay. So, describe to me about how you are spreading this paste onto her feathers successfully.
Well, I think since she's thrashing around, I'll kind of take advantage and almost ride her motions, almost like, how you kind of surf a train instead of holding onto the guardrail. I'll let her do the brunt of the movement.
Okay. Oh no, I just turned everything green.
We win.
That means everything wins.
So, you are able to spread that on, and as the paste goes on, her feathers seem to regain their vitality, and the oil that is dripping up towards the sky, that pearlescent sheen, fades and evaporates from her, and you have cured one of her wounds, which means that we reset the track.
Hey, just 1 down.
Feel pretty good. We got this. We're doing okay.
So you've done this. You've cured the wound, and let me just read this here. 10 plus, you heal the monster's wound, and they lose the abilities that wound granted them. Reset the control track, and tell the table something you noticed while applying the cure. So what did you notice?
And this is just in general or relating to one of the other wounds?
It could be either. Something about her behavior or something about her wounds.
I think maybe I noticed that she is starting to thrash around a bit less as she notices that she's regained some more movement in her wings.
Okay.
And she's a little distracted trying to process that.
All right. So she's starting to notice that she is able to use her wings more effectively than she was before. So this is good in some cases. The downside to this, though, is that, again, she realizes that she can fly better now. So she takes to the sky.
Excellent. Very good.
With Bentley and Isa clinging to her. And we're in phase 2 of the boss fight at this point, with her up in the sky, flapping about. And at least she can't negate gravity for you anymore, because you cured her feather thing.
But see, here's the thing, though. She's in the sky, and we're on top of her in the sky. We have the highest ground.
That is
You
true.
do.
That is true, Velvet.
You have the highest ground.
But I am not there.
You are not, but you do have a long-range weapon.
Okay.
Loaded with stuff to cure a different one of her wounds. But I'm not going to do that. As she's flapping her wings, there is, again, a crackle of lightning, and there's water falling from the sky because of the storms that are being corrupted and controlled by her presence. And as she flaps her wings again and slashes her tail, water boils instantly in her vicinity. So the rain instantly turns to a scalding mist. She takes one more control
It's really bad.
as all of you are being burned
That's so dangerous.
by this very unpleasant situation.
Matt, that's so bad.
This is some Shadow of the Colossus type bullshit.
It looks super cool. It feels terrible.
As a robot, I'm sure it's fine.
A robot.
Yeah. What are we doing for phase 2 here?
I'd like to set him up again if no one minds.
I do not.
I do not object.
You got to get those eyes open and pointed towards your sniper.
That's the idea.
Okay. So roll with your fine.
Boom. 11.
An 11. Okay. Set him up.
Noise.
On a 10 plus, the monster falls for your trick completely. Advance on the control track and pick one from the list.
Pearl, you're getting a +1.
Okay.
Okay. Pearl, did you want to use that now?
I'm going to wait a moment while I try to figure out what my next move would be.
Okay.
Can you do a double setup?
I don't know. Maybe. You could also do a we go on 3, or you could, let's see. I guess, Pearl, you could try to get to a better position with we're going up there.
Yeah, I might be doing that actually. So climbing around, I think what this means is that Pearl is climbing further up the scaffolding so that she can climb higher up and be more level, so it won't be as far of a shot with her
Her sniper soaker.
sniper soaker. Sorry. Why do we have so many tongue twisters when I can't speak good?
Armor piercing sniper soaker. Yeah, that is hard to say.
Yeah, okay, so quick
Armor
question.
piercing sniper
Sniper
soaker.
soaker.
Armor piercing sniper soaker. Armor piercing sniper soaker.
If I'm getting a +1 from Mike, but then I have a -1 on my force, does that just balance out to +0?
Yes.
Okay, just making
It's not
sure.
a problem because you're going to roll 2 6s anyway.
Shoot the juice in her eyes.
Well,
Sniper
I got a
soaker.
7.
Honestly, 7
All right, a 7.
because you still have all your aces.
Okay.
On a
yeah.
7 to 9, you get stranded halfway there. Spend an ace to move up 1 on the control track or lose your footing.
Ace is one of my skills, correct?
Skills, backgrounds, equipment.
I'm going to use one of my equipment, my climbing gear.
Ah, okay. So mark that that's been used and roll a d4.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. You don't actually roll anything. You just burn it up.
Okay.
Okay.
Just spend the other critical ace.
Yeah, I mean, we have the control now that Pearl is in position. So would anyone mind if pure Pearl used the Super Soaker sniper rifle to put out the ears?
Would you like a setup? Or do you
Yeah,
just
if
roll
someone
the
wants to do a
2d8?
setup first.
Sorry, the super soaker juice is for the eyes.
I can do a setup.
Oh,
Go for it.
it's the eyes? I thought it was the ears.
No, the ears was something else.
The lightning shampoo?
Oh, we lost the lightning shampoo.
Yeah, you lost the lightning shampoo. You'll have to figure out something else for that one.
I'm really confused because I thought the eyes and the ears were the same thing because
Oh, 2 different wounds.
Super soaker juice were eye drops.
So is the aura of irritation the one with the eyes?
Yeah. Wait.
Okay.
what? Yes.
Okay. So I guess so Pearl had the eye drops, I guess then.
Yes.
Okay.
You had the eye juice in your sniper soaker.
Okay, so that's the one that Pearl is going to do, but if someone wants to set it up first, go right ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to do a setup.
Okay.
So I want to run up to the head and do almost that Tom and Jerry thing where I lift up the eyelid to give Pearl a better shot.
Okay. This is going to be extra dangerous, not only because you're flying in the scalding mist, but also because she does have those fiery ears in the way.
I have no regrets.
Yep. Just letting you know, the stakes.
Steaks.
They won't just be medium rare. They'll be well done.
Oh, I mean, I ain't got no beef because I'm a vegetarian.
All right, roll your fine.
Oh no, so many regrets.
Oh no.
That
My luck ran out. That's what I get for rolling.
1 and 1. Okay.
I just burn all your things. You can't let this happen.
Can I burn more than one thing? I still have like everything.
Oh, let me double check.
Screw the rules. We have money.
You can use 1 ace per roll.
Oh boy.
Fair.
You gotta roll a 4. That's all. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You can
I'll go for it.
you can try. Sure. What's the ace you're
Yeah.
using here that's applicable?
I'm thinking my cardio training.
Makes sense to me. Give it a try.
We do extreme exposure cardio.
That's a 1d4. Is that plus anything or just a straight 1d4?
Just 1d4.
Yeah, plus 15.
Hey!
Yo!
From the fires. Okay.
Literally.
So you are able to pull this out of disaster into partial success.
How'd you do that?
So set them up on a 7 to 9. Pick one from the list. You might gain a session ace. You might give a +1. You might get a moment to diagnose the wounds.
I think I'll give Pearl a +1 for the healing shot.
Hey.
So Pearl, you've got a +1. Are you going to take the shot?
Yep. Okay, so it's just the 2d6 plus 1.
You're doing cure, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're on the D8 right now. So you would roll 1D8 +1. And if you want, you can use a critical ace or something after you roll to see if you need it.
Yep.
So roll 1D8 +1 and we'll see how that goes. Okay. You got a 4. So you might want to use an ace or a critical ace.
Yes. Critical. What's the difference between the two aces again?
Critical ace is an extra D8. A session ace or other ace is a D4.
I'm going to use a critical ace. Is that okay with everyone?
Yes.
Okay, so that's another 1d8. Like you said, that's a 6. So now it's a 10.
Hey!
That's a 10. Very good.
Hey.
That's very good. On a 10 plus, you heal the monster's wound and they lose the abilities the wound granted them. Reset the control track and tell the table something you noticed while applying the cure.
So as Isa was pulling up the eyelids and Pearl was squirting in the fluid into Capyburrowl's eyes, Pearl noticed... How much power do I have here?
Well, you can't really add anything or remove anything from the track mechanically. It'd just be something that might give you a narrative edge here. Like, what do you want to notice?
That she's probably going to have to land soon because her eyesight is going to be a little bit blurry. So it's going to be harder for her to see them. I don't know. I'm like, what does Pearl notice?
What do you see with your special eyes?
With my cat eyes.
Search for felines. You know them to be true.
Did I mention yet that Pearl is a calico? For the listeners at home, Pearl is a longer-haired calico.
Sorry, what did you notice?
I was thinking that it was like that she now has like blurry vision from the medicine, so she might want to stabilize herself or land so that she can not run into things, is basically.
Okay, she might need to stabilize herself or land soon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So we are back in. We've got one thing to go. Last thing that we had was Pearl, you were climbing up onto Capyburrowl in flight, attempting to make your way up the side of it. And so you're rolling, we're going up there, which is a roll of 2d6 plus force.
I believe in you. Pearl.
Believe in the me that believes in you.
Cat person.
Okay.
Hey.
That's an 8. Because on a 7 to 9 for we're going up there, you either get stranded halfway there, meaning you must spend an ace to move up one on the control track, or lose your footing. So you have to spend that ace anyway. So yes, the grappling hook is what saves you here and allows you to move up one on the control track.
Yeah. Or, okay. Well, do we want to say, okay, whatever. I thought I had to roll again, but...
No, because you don't have to roll for an ace, just you spend the ace.
Awesome.
To move up on the control track. Otherwise, you lose your footing and you fall back, which we don't want.
I don't think it was a grappling hook, though.
Oh, sorry. You said grappling?
That was the...
You have the grappling skill.
Yeah, for force. It was more like...
The grappling background, rather.
Yeah, it was more like... when I said grappling, I thought more like rock climbing.
Oh. I kind of thought this cat was just good at... I thought it like a grappling hooks or like grappling as in wrestling.
No. That makes sense.
Wrestle that scaffolding.
You know, wrestling monsters, other cats, people.
Other cats, more likely.
A goose.
No geese.
No geese. That's the hard rule.
Those things are evil.
I was gonna say I got like mad props for anyone that steps up to a goose because I wouldn't.
No, thank you.
Those things are
under
evil.
No circumstances.
Do you like what comes out of them? Horrible. Their general demeanor? Horrible.
Next time on Monster Care Squad, you see all of these monster care specialists, and they're just a regular goose.
Bentley explodes.
What's wrong with the goose? You get through the diagnosis phase. The goose does not have any wounds. It is just a goose.
Yeah, this is why Yarrow retired. It was geese.
Oh.
A life of space piracy would be better.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that.
All right, so you've moved up to the D6 square here on the control track. The scalding mist is starting to dissipate. At least it's not burning your skins and furs and chassis anymore. Capyburrowl's ears are continuing to spark and flare. And there's lightning that is continuing to strike. You can see it. It looks like it's doing that spider web lightning thing as it strikes many different branches of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Many different branches of the crane trees here at the sky cranes above the maw. And, people are running away below, and Capyburrowl is slashing and doing barrel rolls in the air. And yeah, I think Capyburrowl's ears twitch, and the lightning slams into the tree branches, and some of the lightning is snapping off of her feathers as well, causing it to become an extremely dangerous proposition for you to continue with your climb. And I'm going to have her take 1 control as well.
Ooh, you meanie bobini.
What are the rest of you doing? Isa, you are up on top of Capyburrowl. Bentley, you are around somewhere.
I'm lurking.
You are amongst the cranes.
Yeah, it's just like the legends foretold. I think I'd like to try to set up someone.
Okay. What do you want to do? And then we'll figure out what move that'll be.
I think that Bentley, now firmly entrenched within the crane park, is going to attempt to make a rudimentary net as quickly as possible with many different cables and ropes and pulleys, just to catch Capyburrowl long enough to try to find the mystical shampoo that we made.
Okay. All right. So yeah, it sounds like you are using trickery to mislead, trap, or confuse Capyburrowl, which is set him up. So roll plus you're fine.
Why, thank you.
Anytime.
10. All right, Bentley.
Okay, very good. On a 10 plus, the monster falls for your trick completely. Advance on the control track and pick one of the options from the list. Do you have the list, or do you want me to read it to you?
I could set someone up, give them +1. I could gain a session ace, or I could diagnose the monster's wounds. We know all the things that it can do, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
If I were following the rules exactly as written, you would only learn one thing at a time about the wounds. But we're doing a bit of a fast and loose interpretation because we're doing a fast session.
Mm-hmm. I think then, how many session aces do we have? We have 1?
We have 1 session ace.
Let's grab another one.
Okay.
All right, we have a D8. We have many things. We just don't have the cure. Somewhere down there in the cables in the dark is Headbutt Swan Dive.
Do you want to tell us what Headbutt Swan Dive is doing?
Searching for the shampoo, I imagine.
The shampoo that has fallen. Okay. Yeah, I think Headbutt Swan Dive is definitely down there, seeing that this is a danger. Perhaps the unexpected storm has caught them unawares and tainted their paints, leading to an "I must do something about this."
Yeah.
I can't do the voice. You can only do the voice.
I must do something about this.
There we go.
For some reason, I imagine them like rappelling down a la like Cirque du Soleil, like ribbons and acrobatics.
I kind of, as like my mental image of this, I do love the rappelling down. I was also thinking like they just launch themselves off of the beehive.
Yep. Instantly just
Just fall at first
just
towards
like the mad lad. There he goes.
But isn't it technically a swan dive?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly why I was thinking that.
This is precisely his MO.
It looked like when Pocahontas jumps off that really tall cliff that would have
Absolutely killed her.
broken her neck, in the water.
Thankfully.
Looks like that, but there's a thunderstorm.
Yeah, it's even cooler and more metal than Pocahontas the movie.
So more metal. Is Pocahontas a punk rock metal?
God, I wish it was.
No.
Sure isn't.
It's not, but if anybody would like to rewrite that, I would appreciate that.
I would love a punk version of Pocahontas where she slays John Smith.
Yeah. Let's rewrite history, but in a better way.
In a better way. Slightly
Hell
better.
yeah.
You know, the Iroquois were the ones who had started the Mohawk hairstyle. Well, technically it was the Mohawk Iroquois tribe, but still.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the colors of the wind, there are
Yep,
a
go
lot
for it.
of gale force winds that are pushing people back and forth. So Headbutt Swan Dive probably has some of those paints streaming off. It's question marks for Headbutt Swan Dive's pronouns there. You've been using he. Is that he or is it any?
I think that it's. I probably said he or they. I think I said they, but I imagine
It's literally question marks is what you wrote.
Oh, it's
down.
question marks. Then let's go with anything.
Okay.
It's the gender literally question marks. That's
Yep.
me. I love it. Well done, past Michael.
Yeah. It says here headbutt swan dive and then in brackets 3 question marks.
Excellent. Good choice.
Yeah, so the colors of their tainted paints definitely streaming off them as they swan dive off the hive and toss towards you as they streak past down into the
tainted paint.
Some stay dry, others eat the paint.
they throw towards Isa, who's riding on top of Capyburrowl, the recovered shampoos that you require for the treatment of these lightning flame ears, and then streak away into the darkness below of the maw.
Who was that masked individual?
Who is the Drizzler?
Insert theme song here. All right, Isa. So you've received from Headbutt Swan Dive this package, the dropped shampoo. Bentley, you have trapped Capyburrowl in a net. Pearl, you have climbed up onto this beast to join Isa atop of her.
Be a setup action would make sense here next.
There's also we go on 3.
Yeah, that actually makes more sense because I was thinking like the setup. What I was thinking was, Pearl was gonna like help Isa mix the shampoo with water or something. I said Isa. Yes.
Do you still have your like water gun type thing? Maybe we could load the shampoo in there and like
The super sniper soaker.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
I don't know. I don't know if like I still have it, but can we just like retcon and say that it was just empty if I lost it?
I mean, that could be. I think what was in that was the juice that you used to cure the eyes issue.
Yeah.
So you still have the weapon itself.
Okay. So Pearl pulls it from the back of her back where it was in like,
The back of her back, yes.
yes, like a metallic bandolier sort of situation, like a metallic plate that she had stuck it to.
Mm-hmm.
That now we go on 3, which is the plan is that Pearl has the gun. Isa will help Pearl fill her up and start blasting. Get a little bit closer and start blasting at the ears.
Okay.
Or else like Pearl like pulled out like 2 like smaller water gun pistols.
Does it convert from sniper to close range?
Oh, yeah.
Like you've pulled the barrel back?
Alternative fire modes. Damn.
It's like one big gun and then she breaks it apart into 2 smaller guns for
Yes.
Isa and Pearl to use. Yes.
Bentley is very impressed.
So yeah, that's it.
So what is the relevant training or background that you're calling upon here that each of you has?
Is it fine? Because we are like, it is a fine, like filling this up and then doing like accurate shooting. Is that what do you
I would say it's either fine to like do this nimbly or grit to continue hanging on in the middle of this rapidly growing superstorm. So whichever one you think is the best fit for this plan, you and Isa just need to roll the same training or background. You don't have to spend it. You just have to use the same thing.
Yeah, I have +1 in fine and 0 in grit. So what about you, Velvet?
Oh, Sam, I am down for fine. I think, especially since Bentley was kind enough to provide the netting, I think that gives us enough breathing room to, focus on precision instead of just having to like bear and grit through.
Yeah, Capyburrowl is thrashing at the moment, but also she is not flying around and doing barrel rolls at the moment because she's trying to shred this net that's caught her using her big old claws in her front feet rather.
Sounds good. Okay, I will start the roll.
I roll as well, right? It sounds like a group
You
thing.
both roll, yes.
Okay.
Yep, I got 4. Velvet
Roll, yes. Roll the 4.
better
Yeah.
than me.
That's /roll, right?
Yep.
You got this,
Someday I'll remember.
Velvet. Yay, Velvet.
That's better than
Okay.
8.
Hey.
Now you can spend aces, of course, We have 2 session aces, a critical ace, and of course, you've still got your backgrounds and special equipment that you brought with you. You could maybe spend you brought the sniper soaker. You could maybe spend that as an ace for this action if you wanted, Pearl.
I say we roll a session ace if we have it.
The session ace is still a D4. It's only the critical ace that's a D8.
Okay. Because I really love the super sniper soaker.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're destroying it, just that you are using it up. You can't use it again in this session, which is almost over because this is the last wound. I'm just saying, narratively, to me, that's logical, but you pick whichever one makes sense to you narratively to spend here to help you out.
I'll use session ace.
Okay. Now, Velvet, are you sitting at an 8, or do you want to try and pump that up?
I'd like to pump it up. I'm not sure what I can use for it on my end.
So,
Unfortunately, it's still not a success. Pearl brought up to a 6. Sorry, what were you saying, Isa?
I definitely want to pump it up. I'm just not sure what I can use to pump it up.
Okay. Well, there's a session ace, and
I mean, yeah, I feel don't mind me using it. I feel good about rolling that D4.
Have you used your cardio training already?
I believe I did while climbing up and hanging on.
Yeah.
I could use my surgeon for, better aim, but I don't know if that applies here.
Well, you are mixing a concoction, which is something a surgeon might have to do, or attempting to. The application of it would require the steady hands of a surgeon.
I buy it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Do it.
Cool. I mean, I am rolling fine, and as Camille would say in League of Legends, the difference between a butcher and a surgeon is precision.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
Also anatomy. Also anatomy.
That session ace is 1d4, correct?
Yes.
I believe in you.
But if you're using a character ace, hey, nice.
Oh, got a 12.
Okay, so for every 10 plus, hold 1. Spend hold on the following options: advance on the control track, rescue a teammate that rolled 6 or below, push the monster back on the control track, gain a session ace, refresh a critical ace. On a 7 to 9, it doesn't matter. For every 6 or below, the monster advances on the control track and pushes the player's 1 back.
Ugh.
So if you want to spend your advance on the control track, you could basically resist that and things would stay as they are.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I want to advance us on the control track.
Okay, so what is it that happens here that it doesn't quite work out for you?
Or
that there's this conflict that results in status quo, like there's a push and pull here. Maybe Capyburrowl manages to shred the net at an opportune moment, and Pearl?
Well, I was saying that since it was my failure here, basically, I think that Pearl misses, and so then, we got I wouldn't say one ear out, but
You're only able to treat one of the ears.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the ears has been extinguished, and the other one, twitches in that moment, and the lightning continues to cascade, and it's just basically, Capyburrowl's one ear is put out, but now she has escaped from the net that was holding her in place, and we're back to the situation we were in before this attempted plan. You are at the D8. You've got the cure with you. There's probably still some left. You could try to roll cure if somebody wants to give that a shot.
Bentley's going for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that
go home.
I think in the fiction, Pearl probably slipped further back too, hanging on for dear life.
Okay.
Now you'll land on your feet though.
Yes. Thankfully, that's true. Thankfully,
Oh,
yes.
you're a cat. That's right.
So is this like maybe Pearl missed or fumbled and the gun fell and Bentley grabbed it and is now trying to fire?
The robot's got a gun.
Oh no. Kinda.
What have you got there?
That's interesting. Why don't I take that from you?
Thanks, Shredder.
Tonight I dine on turtle soup. And then Bentley shoots Capyburrowl with juice or with special shampoo.
Okay, you roll your D8.
Shampoo is just juice you put on your hair.
And I'm going to use that critical ace that we still have.
Okay,
go for it.
You've rolled a 6 so far.
All right,
That's a 7.
13.
That's a 13. Cure. On a 10 plus, you heal the monster's wound and they lose the abilities that wound granted them. So what does this look like in this moment? You shoot and...
So one ear goes out. Pearl loses their grip, falls a bit. Bentley pulls them up over the edge, grabs the gun. One of the cables near Bentley gets rent by Capyburrowl as Capyburrowl escapes back into the sky. Bentley grabs on, uses the forward momentum of Capyburrowl stopping in the air to turn about and push a storm at the crane park. And then he's in midair, wreathed by doves, and shoots Capyburrowl in the remaining flaming storm ear, and then is graciously returned to the ground by a returning headbutt swan dive who places Bentley carefully on the ground and then disappears from sight.
Doing a reverse swan dive.
A reverse swan dive, if you will. And Bentley will claim that he has no memory of this event taking place.
Now, on the skill tree, do you need to know how to reverse rappel before you can reverse swan dive?
I think absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that you can use your concentration meter to reverse swan dive until you have both concentration ×2 and reverse rappelling.
In order to upgrade reverse rappel to reverse swan dive, you must visit and drink of the Widdershins.
Yeah.
If you survive the experience, there you go.
Then you're
up.
a Grey Warden.
Okay. So Capyburrowl, the moment that the second ear goes out, she stills and seems to be in a moment of shock. And she begins to fall from the sky. Like her wings go limp and she's spiraling down from the sky towards the maw below. And she crashes through several of the crane trees branches. You know, the damage is considerable. It's going to take a while to grow this back and patch it up. But just before she slams through into the maw below, I think she suddenly, her eyes snap back open and her wings, arms reach out and she levels off and is able to come to an unsteady rolling landing on the ground. It's not pretty, but as she is rolling, she reaches her arms out to wrap them around the two of you, Pearl and Isa, so that you are not crushed by her bulk in this crash landing.
Aww.
And she's lying on the ground, breathing heavily, and the storm dissipates. The light of the arc comes through the clouds that had gathered at her summons, and you feel that calming presence slowly return and fill you with a relaxation. The time to take a breath is now. People begin to gather around, trying to make sure that you're okay and to make sure that she is okay as well.
And Pearl, feel under her ribs to see if she's pregnant because Pearl has a hunch.
Let me just check my notes.
Okay.
So you can feel under her ribs, and she does not appear to be pregnant. No one has any idea how or if these monsters reproduce, but so there doesn't appear to be anything where either an owl or a capybara or a donkey would be carrying their young. But again, we don't have any idea how they reproduce.
Right. They could produce by budding for all we know.
Yeah.
That would be
Or
horrible.
by planting strange things in different places or something weird like that. Okay. And after a time, Capyburrowl rises to her feet and looks at each of the three of you in the eye. And as she does, I think it is time for us to do the move on. What are the three of you doing in the aftermath of this successful treatment? Like here in this moment, in this scene where she is getting back to her feet.
Well, Pearl had already checked.
Yeah, Pearl did that check and then...
Isa's probably fixing her braids.
What's Bentley up to?
Bentley gives Pearl back their super sniper soaker and then just sits down next to Capyburrowl and obviously doesn't breathe, but lets out a big old robot sigh.
So as Capyburrowl looks each of you in the eye, you can feel her gratitude and also her concern, not just at the harm that she did cause, but there's also some deeper concern that you can feel growing within her. You can't quite articulate it, or maybe she can't quite articulate it and communicate it to you, but there's something wrong, not necessarily with her at this point, but somewhere. When your work here is finished, pick one from the list below and either ask the guide where the next job is or tell them where you're headed next. So the options are pick a new move or upgrade one you already have to its monster form. And you can pick that multiple times, I guess. No, it's just there 3 times. Add +1 to one of your stats. Swap the bonuses between 2 stats and change a -1 or 0 stat for a new background or training.
Yeah, so could I bring my force that is -1 up to a 0?
Yeah.
Awesome.
You feel stronger in that moment as she looks you deep in the eyes, as if you could handle more than you could before. Your muscles feel like they have greater force to them.
Bentley's going to get +1 fine.
Okay. You can feel that your joints are moving in a smoother way. Those joints that were designed for, was it deli work before and had moved on to hair cutting now feel like you could cut so much more hair all at once.
Ooh.
My God.
Isa, this is the second time you have communed with a monster in the wake of curing them.
Gotta commune with all the monsters. I think, narratively speaking, probably might upgrade my force since I did a lot of hanging on to flying creatures today.
Yeah, so you as well can feel new strength flooding your body as she gazes into your eyes. And you can feel that she has this confidence in you that you can handle this power that she has sharing with you. So,
Right, Pearl is disappointed that her muscles aren't bulging out in a way you can see from under her fur. Maybe someday.
Capyburrowl lowers her head briefly in a nod and then tenses her donkey legs and her bird forelegs and launches into the sky, where she flies up higher than she normally does and disappears from view. This brings us to the end of our treatment. Is there anything else you'd like to role play out here before we close out? Conversations with each other or discussions about what's going to happen next?
I think Pearl turns to Bentley and Isa is like, well, our job here is done. Time to go back to the, base and wait for the next thing to come up.
I'm just happy we were able to accomplish our goal with so little collateral damage to the city, and the crane park collapses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maeve's not going to be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can already see emergency services are, arriving on the scene and beginning to shore up the teetering cranes. Some of them have fallen over already, and emergency services coming from lots of different areas in the city and also up from the maw itself here to get to work on repairing this. People are milling around. You can see the aftermath of the extreme rage that many people felt while Capyburrowl was afflicted. Like broken windows, some people knocked down some street lamps. There's a graffiti that said like "heck the law."
Yeah, heck the law.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my
It's that
goodness.
little kid with Mr. Horsey is there, walks away,
Oh no.
drops their spray paint can.
Mr. Horsey is they took all the stuffing outside of Mr. Horsey and put a spray paint can through his mouth.
Somebody wrote Romans go home.
Wow. That little kid is going to be part of the Bloody Knife Revenge Society in like 5 years.
Oh, dang.
So as you all return on the tandem bicycle to the Monster Care Squad headquarters,
Oh yeah.
Seeker Cavalo is there and he welcomes you back, says, "Well done, once again. I'm so glad to see that we were able to help Capyburrowl. There's a lot of work to be done to repair the city, but things could have gotten so much worse if we hadn't treated her as swiftly as we did." And, there's medals and stuff. But meanwhile, the camera fades out there and, the credits roll. And then, of course, there's an after credit scene because there always is these days.
Mm.
And the camera opens up on something that we saw before earlier in this session. The storm rising up out of the ground, the reverse storm coming out of the ground in that hole that Capyburrowl dug at the bottom of her burrow. It seems she has not returned to this one just yet. But that storm, the one that you dropped the glow sticks into and captured part of in a bottle, is beginning to fade a little bit. It's beginning to die off. And as the last bolt of lightning strikes the top of the burrow here and fades away, this gash in between realities remains. And we see a gloved hand grip the edge and a figure pulls itself up into the burrow, wearing an all-over containment suit. The figure is squat, has 4 arms, bent legs, and their top 2 arms reach up to touch the sides of their containment helmet. You can hear some type of breathing apparatus. A holographic display pops out of their wrist. They look at it. Things turn green. They nod. Then you hear a muffled voice. "Things are all clear here. Send the rest through."
Oh no.
And we cut to black.
Dun dun dun.
Oh no.
Thank you for joining us for our second session of Monster Care Squad from Sandy Pug Games. I've been Arp. My pronouns are he or they. I'm the friendly guide here on Stories of a Broken Sun. You can find me on Twitter at YCaliber or follow the show at Broken Sun RPG. And you can always visit our website, brokensunrpg.com. Today, I was joined by Keekers.
Hi everyone, it's me Keekers, also known as Be a Space Cat, and today I played Pearl, whose pronouns are she/they, and I am the owner of she/her pronouns.
Hey. Heck yeah. They are mine.
Well done. I was also joined by Velvet.
Thank you all so much for joining us. I've been Velvet Faye Fair, playing Isa, who is she, her. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the interwebs at OG Brown Sugar, mainly on Twitch and the Bird app.
Okay. And I was joined by Mike.
Hi, everyone. It's still me, Mike Blood, they, them. Today I played Bentley the Friendly Robot, he, him. And if you're so inclined, you can follow me on Twitter at GoodSirBlood. Thanks for listening.
Until the next time, everyone, all the best.
All the best.
Yes, everyone. Bye-bye, space spiders.
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 The ciders.
Astrachnids.
Astrachnids. Durr-durr-durr.
The Astractants have to be like the successor team to the Monstars.
There it is.
Oh no.
Astrachnids.